Hello. Good afternoon across. Those of you who are here bright and early, like we'd hope you would be. Welcome to the 2024 AGM, which starts at 2 p.m. sharp. So if you're outside, kindly make your way inside because we will start at 2 p.m. sharp. Tech, are we ready to go live? We're ready? Okay. Good afternoon again across. It's 2 p.m. and I call the 2024 AGM to order. I was going to ask a regular mortal to say us an opening prayer, and then I looked up and I saw Father Ajiman. So Father Ajiman, if you will, kindly do us the honors.
Good afternoon. Shall we please bow our heads in prayer? We begin our meeting in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Amen. Gracious Lord, we are grateful unto you. We thank you for Achimota School. We thank you for the OAA. We thank you for the OAA executives, across, local and abroad. We thank you for today's meeting. We commit those on their way to your gracious hands. We commit the panel, head, executive to your gracious hands. We pray, may we, Giorgio, and have a lasting solutions to the challenges we are going through. And we pray through us, may we and the school become a living water to a thirsty land. Begin with us, continue with us, and end with us. The blessing of God, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Have we prayed with thanksgiving? Amen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Father Ajiman. Much appreciated. Before we go into the business of the day, can I just check with our tech people? Are we online? Are those online able to follow? We're online. Okay, so thank you very much. The next thing on our agenda is our school hymn. So we'll do that very quickly, and then we'll go into the rest of the program. So if we can rise, we will do the first two stanzas of the school hymn, Great City of okay. 1, 2. Great city of the outlaws hail, quake with the hope which makes sublime, Still in thy youth, thou darest to rule, found to centuries of time, born but to rule, through service given, the ages all belong to thee. Oh, may thy life more humble grow through him who service makes us free. Thank you very much. You may resume your seats. Before I continue, two things. I want to recognize at this meeting and on time, two past presidents of the OAA, President Sarah Lynn Mansaray. Thank you very much for making it. Our immediate past president, President Professor Ernest Aite. I also want to recognize two past chairpersons of the board of Achimota School, Accra, Ernest Kwesi. The Ernest has been parked for a while, but we know it. And our current board chair, who wears two caps, past president and current board chair, Accra Professor Ernest Aite. Thank you very much for joining us. A quick reminder to all Accras online, can you kindly, in registering or putting your name online, kindly indicate your proper names and your year group so that it helps us in taking the role. So if you have Kwame, for instance, we wouldn't know who Kwame is. If you have Alonso, for instance, there were like 1,000 Alonso, so we wouldn't know which one. So please tell us, Harold Iseku of the 88-year group, so it's easier for us to keep a record. So thank you very much. The next thing on our agenda is the adoption of this agenda. And so you've all received, all of you who registered have received the agenda. It's also available on the walls where you can scan a soft copy, but I'll walk you through it so that we are clear how this meeting will be guided. We started with an opening prayer and we've done the school hymn. Then the adoption of the agenda, followed by a roll call of year groups to be led by Accra Vice President Harold Iseku. After that, we will review and approve the minutes of the last AGM held in June 2023. Then we will go into matters arising out of those minutes. And once that's done, we will commence the business of today. The business of today will start with the President's report. Then we will go to the Headmaster's report. Then we'll go to a report of the Achimota School Centenary celebrations. Then we'll receive a report of the Achimota School Endowment Trust Fund, the Asset Fund. Then we will be presented and we will consider the Achimota School Endowment Trust Fund's accounts for 2023. That will be followed by the accounts of the OAA itself for 2023, the audited accounts. Then 13 is not food this time, we'll authorize the executive committee, this meeting will authorize the executive committee, hopefully to fix the auditor's fees. Then we will go into elections. As I'm sure you know, this is an election AGM, an election year. And after elections, we will go into AOB, a closing prayer, and we'll depart with the school song. So this is the proposed agenda for this meeting. Are there any suggestions for amendments? Otherwise, can I have somebody please move for the adoption of this agenda to guide today's meeting? Accra Kwesi Okun moves, thank you very much. And Accra Sarah Lynn seconds. Thank you very much, Accra. So the next on the agenda is what they call a welcome address. I have already welcomed you. Really, it's just to create context. So I will reiterate though and say thank you very much, not only for coming and for those online as well, but for coming on time. I have said over and over again that we will start all Achimota meetings at stipulated times, whether it's an AGM, committee meetings, centenary, anything that has to do at Achimota. When we say 2, it's not the warm-up time. It's not when you are trying to get here. 2 is when the meeting starts. So I thank you very much, all across, who are helping us respect that. I think I'm very happy about today's AGM. I think we've got lots of positive things to report. And as the various committees present, you will see that it's been a particularly busy year. And so I want to say thank you to all the committees that you're going to hear from, and also all the across all around the world who have supported the work of the various arms, if you like, of the OAA and school. Before we move on to roll call, I want to, on behalf of the OAA, but also on my own personal behalf, say a big thank you again, and I will do so at every opportunity I get, to Accra Headmaster and his team. For a long time, the relationship and the value that the OAA brought to the school wasn't particularly given the attention, focus, respect that it should be. And I'm glad that ever since Mr. Akwa came back, the relationship has gotten better, and we can count on the school. In as much as the school counts on the OAA to support, we also know that the school does take the OAA and everything that we do seriously. So Mr. Akwa is here. I've seen Assistant Headmaster here. I've seen Father Jiman here. A good representation of management of the school. So thank you so very much, Accra Headmaster and your team, for joining us. Accra Harold, roll call.
Thank you very much, Accra President. I'm sure we all recollect how we do our roll call. We want to know those from the 1927 to 1959. Those from the 50s year group. Any representative from the 50s year group? A big round of applause, a big round of applause, a big round. Yes, up to 1959. Congratulations. Very senior Accra. In fact, we should call you Accra Emeritus, if there's anything like that. We go to the 60s, Accra's from the 60s. Motion to accept the agenda and seconded from the 60s. Thank you very much. Accra past president, Accra past board chair. 70s, Accra's from the 70s. A big round of applause, a big round of applause, a big round of applause. Accra, former president, Accra school board chair, and all those from the 70s. Thank you very much. Accra from the 80s. Please don't put me to shame. Accra from the 80s. We should be the most. Accra from the... Oh, the 70s are more than us. I think the 70s deserve a bigger round of applause since they are more than the 80s. Accra from the 90s. Accra from the 90s. Okay, I thought from the 90s were only the executive. Okay, Accra on the 90s. Oh, plus those online. Sorry for it. There are more 80s online. Okay, there are a lot of 80s online. Thank you very much. 80s. Yes, Accra Martinechi, 83. Yes. Accra from the 2000s. Plus 1 outside, 2 inside. Thank you very much. Accra's from the online. Yes, there are a lot of, we hope there are a lot of you online. We'll be getting the feed better shortly. Accra's from the 2010s. Accra's from the 2010s. Accra's from the 2010s. Accra's from the 2010s. Okay. The last time we had Accra's from the 2020s, last year. We had about 4 Accra's from the 2020s last year. Or they are Ghanaian, so they are late. Okay. Thank you very much, Accra President.
Thank you very much, Accra Vice President. And thank you to all the year groups here present, all the decades here present, especially the pre-60, the 50s year group, and of course the 60s as well. I will say something about the 70s year group when I come, the decade, when I come to the dues and how much they are putting, not just the 80s and the 90s, but really everybody else to shame as far as their responsiveness to the OAA is concerned. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, across, let's do item number 5 on our agenda, which is the review and approval of minutes for 2023. These minutes were circulated a few days ago, weeks ago, and so I'm hoping that across would have had a chance to review them. Given that we have quite a packed agenda, I would want us to do a page 10, hoping that you would have read them and so you can point out any corrections that you've seen very quickly so we can move on, so we don't have to go through the entire thing. So if you're in agreement with me, then across, let's do a review of page 1 of the June 2023 minutes. Yes, okay. He's 70, what's it? 74, yeah. Are you across 78? You are sacking him, okay, I noticed, okay. Okay, he's not your, okay, we'll correct that, 74. All right, any other correction? Page 1. Page 2. Corrections, page 2. Page 3. Any corrections on page 3? Page 4. Corrections, page 5. Corrections, page 6. Corrections, page 7. I'm not sure whether this is because we managed to go through all the minutes and correct them, or it's because Akres haven't read them, but page 7. I hope it's the former. Page 8. Corrections on page 9. It's on page 10. At this point, the role online and physical. Page 12 now. Which page? Page 10. 10. One correction myself. Page 10 or 11, depending on which. In 52. M-A-R-K and not M-S-R-K. So we'll correct that. Number 52. Yeah, okay, on this one it's, okay. All right. Any other correction in the app, Accra Prof? Can we get a mic on the floor, please? For Accras who may need, yeah. Thank you.
One. The whole document, half of it is normal. The other half is like the Quran. You have to read.
Hey.
Yeah, it's all mixed up. So if there are extra ones, I don't know.
Okay, hopefully it's only you, so
we'll
change that for you real quick.
I'm the only person.
Thanks, Accra Prof. So would somebody please move for the acceptance of these minutes to the couple of corrections that we've just made? I have a mover in Accra Martin Entry, thank you very much. And a seconder in Accra Kofifin, thank you very much. All right, so that brings us to corrected minutes and then to matters arising. The first item under matters arising is the capital campaign, Operation 1 million. I think we should shelve that rather and let's, when Asset Fund does their report, that will be encapsulated in the workings of the Asset Fund. So we'll do that. The second matter arising out of the last minutes was a conversation we had around the renovation of the OAA Secretariat building. I will report to this meeting that we've decided to hold on that a wee bit and pick it up again towards the end of this year, and I'll tell you why. Over the last year, with the uptake of activity around, especially the Asset Fund, we find that a good number of Accras, whether it's the increase in dues, Asset Fund activities, regular OAA fundraising, of course, are going to the same Accras asking for funds. So what we decided to do was to be able to give the Asset Fund as much focus as possible and build what it was doing, to put a hold on any other non-Asset Fund and non-year group critical activity so that we can put structure to these. And then once we do that, we will then come back to fundraising. The thing about this OAA Secretariat also, in an attempt not to overburden Accras, that's not to say we won't go to Accras, we're also looking at alternative means of funding. Two things. One, to go to corporates, and then also to look at partnerships, where we would potentially look at an option to build, operate, and transfer with Accras or Accra-related companies who are willing to invest in the project. So we're working on that. And so once we are clear what the best funding options are for the Secretariat building without taking away from all the activities of the OA and the upcoming centenary, we'll come back to you with how we are proceeding with that. But everything is aligned for that to commence. The next matter arising is the OA UG chapter. Accra Eunice, I don't know if you have a report. What has happened with them since the last? We gave them some funds to try and rebuild. Really? Okay. Then the next thing is the national debate competition. We funded a member, I think if you recall that there was an appeal for funds at this meeting for an Accra delegation that was part of the national debate competition, and we're traveling to the US. Accra Headmaster, I don't know if you can give us a quick update on that, because I think that has happened, and this year there's another event happening. So a quick update will be. Thank you very much.
Yes, last year, like the president rightly said, OAA sponsored Kwesi Kunedu Itiako to join the national debate team to the US. They went, they did well. Out of 100 plus students from other countries, he placed 67th, thereabout. 60, yeah, 7th. And I think that was impressive because that was the first time we were joining that competition. This year, another girl is gone because of his performance. And we are hoping that it will be an improvement on what they went to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Accra Headmaster. The final thing under matters arising is renaming of structures in the school. You recall, Accra, that at the last AGM, we had spoken about the fact that we had set up an OAA subcommittee, the projects committee, to work with the school or to make proposals around how the structures within the school could possibly be renamed. Since then, I'm happy to report that the school board has set up a committee to do this. The school board chair is here, so I'll give him the opportunity to give us a quick, I don't know whether the board is in the position to make announcements yet, but just a quick overview. I see the board chair here and I see the chairman of that committee here as well. The OAA was represented on the committee by Accra Vice President, who is also the chairman of our projects committee. And there were a good number of Accras also on the committee. So if somebody can please give Accra Prof, this way, the mic, would appreciate Accra Boche, a quick update as you are able on where we are so far.
Thank you very much, President. The school board set up a committee in April of this year to develop guidelines and criteria for the naming of facilities. The committee is chaired by Professor Ivan Dimension. They were given 2 months, largely to identify what should inform the naming of any facilities at the school. And that they were supposed to submit a report by the end of June 2024, which they have done. So that report is going to be studied by the board, and then we will give feedback to the committee. And the second phase proposed names that will be used for naming those facilities that have been identified by the headmaster provided a list of various buildings and other facilities that could be named. So the committee is studying that. The report has been submitted the last Friday. They did a tweet to the entire informing everybody that this report has been received. So we will look at it and give feedback
Thank you very much, Accra Boche. I think that effort deserves a round of applause. Thank you very much. I mean, it's been long in coming. Accras have been clamoring for this. The world has been clamoring for this. So I'm glad that we're making some progress. So we would look very keenly to the next steps and how the OAA can support and contribute in this endeavor. The next item is item number 7, which is the President's report, which I'll deliver shortly. Can I kindly ask that the slide on the dues be made ready for when it is that I get there? The President's report. Across, it's my pleasure to welcome you all once again to the 2024 annual general meeting of our beloved association, the Old Achimota Association. Whether you are present physically or joining us virtually from all over the world. The OAA has been quite busy in the last year, thanks to the time and effort put in by various Accras, the usual suspects on the OAA executive committee, subcommittees, academic, legal, projects, and finance and alumni relations, celebrating year groups, as well as the incredible amount of work done by the trustees and other co-opted volunteers of the Achimoto School Endowment Trust Fund, the Asset Fund, and of course, the Centenary Planning Committees. We will give the leads of the latter two, the Asset Fund and the Centenary Planning Committee, an opportunity to give us an insight as to what they have been up to over the last year, a little later on in this meeting. Committee reports. Finance and Alumni Relations Subcommittee. Our system of accounting has improved with the introduction of a new accounting software. It has made data capture more efficient and preparing our accounts much easier than it has ever been. The OAA dues collection has been modified since our last meeting. From the beginning of 2024, instead of individual across making payments to the Secretariat, payments are now being made through year groups. Each year group was to pay an annual dues of 12,000 each, which works out to 50 members paying 240 a year. Excess money collected by the year group stays with the year groups for the benefit of each year group and its members. In other words, the first 50 persons in the year group, the collection from the first 50 comes to the OAA, and then the year group uses, depending on how many they are, whether they are 70, 200, 300, whatever they are able to collect beyond the first 50, stays with the year group for year group activities, whether it's welfare, whatever it is that the year group finds fit to do with the funds raised. With the introduction of this new dues regime, the previous requirement for year groups to pay a separate 500 cedis to the asset fund was cancelled. In its stead, the OAA will pay 1,000 cedis out of every 12,000 received from a year group to the asset fund on behalf of that year group to support the administration of the asset fund until the asset fund can be completely independent. This is not 2 years. Accra Chairman, I salute you. For the next 2 years. So after 2 years, the asset fund would have raised enough money to be able to take care of its administrative overheads without the support of the OAA. Accra Chairman, I salute you again. The trend of dues payments will be projected for all to see at this point. Are we able to do this now? Tech. I'm going to go ahead. As soon as you're ready, please let me know and I will come back to that. For their legacy project on turning 50 and 40 years respectively, the 1975 and 1985 year groups have agreed to equip the OAA Talo Science Labs, procure consumables, and provide seed money for a STEM fund. Alumni relations. The OAA continues to make efforts to streamline communications to keep all across abreast with all happenings in the OAA, with the asset fund, and about planning the school centenary. Ensuring meaningful engagement with Accra's globally necessitates a constantly updated database. According to our own constitution, Article 19.3, regional secretaries are mandated to submit a yearly activity report along with the member list and contact details by the 28th of February every year to the executive secretary. This information is crucial for maintaining an accurate OAA database. Accras are urged to promptly provide the necessary details when requested. Please rest assured that we will prioritize and respect the privacy of our Accras and do not disclose their information without explicit consent. Speaking about regional groupings, one area where we will work a little harder on this year is the engagement of the various regions, the USA, the UK, and other identifiable and identified groupings within the OAA. For instance, we're working with the president of the OAA UK chapter, Accra, Akosia Bame. Just by some coincidence, the chairman of the asset fund and I will both happen to be in the UK next weekend. And so we are arranging to potentially have a meeting with the OAA UK, where we will walk them through activities of the OAA and of course the activities of the asset fund. At the moment, the OAA is not in a position to pay for any Accra executives to go out and engage. But whenever it is that any of our executives happen to be in those regions, the plan will be to try and organize these meetings so that we can make sure that all around the world, Accras know what's going on. And also as a feedback loop so that we can get a sense of what the things that matter to Accras, the things, what their concerns are, and how we can best address them. Under alumni relations and under finance, we have a subheading called Giving Day. This really sits within Asset Fund, but I just thought it proper to give you a heads up because it's about us and they'll be coming to us. Giving Day essentially is a concept where alumni of the bigger or the more serious or more established alumni associations dedicate a particular day in a year, sometimes twice a year, where everybody, typically the alumni, but anybody, friends of the organization, corporates, who want to, are able to give to the school, are encouraged to give in a very competitive drive. So for instance, assuming that Giving Day was today, the 30th of June, then from morning all the way, from 12 a.m. all the way to 12 midnight, they'll be encouraging people to donate as they are led and as they are able, whether that's $1,000, 1,000 cedis, 100 Ghana cedis, everybody donates. The thinking being that the wider the net, the more you're able to raise. So everybody genuinely goes back and donates. And we are almost literally inundated with information about it's coming up, what the tallies are, and all of those things. And typically, you also get a friendly, whether that's a corporate or an alumni, to agree to match the funds that the individuals are able to raise. So that's something that we're going to introduce going forward. And I'm sure the Asset Fund will speak about it a little later. As soon as a date is locked in, I'm sure you've noticed that we've upped our game across both the OAA and the Asset Fund as far as communication is concerned, social media, direct, all of those things. Accra Board Chair also takes it high tech, takes it to a new level, and does Twitter. So whatever it is that's happening on the Achimota front, you are sure to get some kind of information somewhere. It's not the finished article yet, but we are committed to make sure that Accras know what's happening within the Accra nation. We're also looking at setting up a loyalty program. Accra Kwesi Day of the 94 year group, I believe, it's a year behind Kwesi Day, will join us a little later on to give us heads up about the loyalty program. But the loyalty program is also trying to answer the what's in it for me question as far as Accras are concerned. So I belong to the OAA. Apart from hounding the headmaster when admissions are due, what else do I get from the OAA? Do I get a 10% discount, for instance, when I go and buy from a particular OAA company, whether that's a laundry or a supermarket or whatever? So we're trying to set up a system where Accras can benefit from Accras, and we can answer that what's in it for me question. So if I've paid my dues, I'm a member in good standing, what do I get beyond just being a member in good standing? So we'll walk you through the beginnings of that. Of course, take input from you, fine tune it, and share. Projects. Under legacy projects in the year under review, OAA 1974 and OAA 1984 year groups rehabilitated the old assembly hall for their joint legacy project, 50 and 40 years, respectively, of leaving school. The project has been completed successfully and measures have been put in place to ensure its continued maintenance. The 2000 year group have started the construction of an 18-unit classroom block behind the new assembly hall. The kitchen, which was constructed several years ago by the 1985 year group, 65, forgive me, 65, has been reactivated, and the Asset Fund has supported this already with funds for the electrical connections which required replacement. The 1999 year group also seeded the Asset Fund as their contribution or their legacy project at 25 years. Across, if you will, please join me in giving these year groups a round of applause for their support for the OAA over the last year. We thank them all very much. encroachment. The OAA Projects Committee, working with the Board Project Committee, continued following up cases of encroachment and worked with the school administration and the Okaikwe North Municipal Assembly to stop new encroachments and to prevent further ones on the school's lands. Any new encroachment was communicated to the Assembly and stopped. It hasn't changed the build by night operations. So I don't know that I can sit here hand on heart and say that it's all under control, but we're doing our very best. Some demolitions took place in the period under review. Update of list of projects, needs list of the school. A harmonized list of projects and needs of the school has been developed. This is available to all Accras and year groups to enable them make informed choices when selecting potential projects. It's expected that year groups will liaise with the Joint Projects Committee of the School Board and the OAA in the choice of projects and with the Asset Fund in the execution and implementation of the projects. Let me just speak to that a little bit. Once again, we want to move away from the situation where it feels very much like sometimes within the OAA, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. We are collaborative. We're all doing, whatever we do is for the benefit of the school. So yes, year groups are encouraged to come up with a project based on their own needs, what happened in the school while they were here, the expertise they have within their year group, whatever, out of the list that has been cleaned up and aligned on by the school and the OAA. So whether you go to the OAA secretariat or go to the school directly, you should be looking at the exact same list. And that list is updated once a project is assigned to a particular year group. That said, we also find, and we've all, well, fortunately, most of us, the 20s were not here, so they haven't done a year group yet. So I can speak to all of us who have done. We know the euphoria and the excitement that comes with preparation for a milestone activity. We also know that once that is done, we all fly back to our bases, whether that's from America or from Kajan or from India. And suddenly, maintaining the project becomes an issue. So we've thought it wise to say, look, going forward, let's work with the asset fund to ensure that whatever projects that we do are maintained. So the funds will be routed through the asset fund, and we'll make sure that a portion of that is held back for maintenance. The asset fund also has, and once again, the asset fund, I'm sure we'll speak to this, several sub-funds that will be set up for the maintenance of various projects within the school. That way, yes, we are getting the best from across as their legacy projects, but we're also ensuring that there's continuity in the long term. So ultimately, the dream would be that all funds, all efforts, everything that goes in support of the school will be run through the asset fund. But it's new, and with every new thing, you get pushback. Why can't we have our own project? Why can't we cut our own sword? You can. And we're going to take our time, however long it takes, to explain how it is that we can all work to support the endowment of Achimota School through the vehicle that has been dedicated for that purpose. Year groups celebrating 25 years and 40 or 50 years since leaving the school in the next 3 years are to please contact the projects committee and the OAA secretariat on potential projects they would like to undertake. Accras are encouraged not to stray, like I mentioned, from the school's needs list. The new list actually has 3 categories. Yes? You want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so we have the bigger, very big ticket items, which it will be very difficult for one year group to undertake, but the school still needs those things. So maybe if GES is coming on board, or 4 or 5 year groups can come together to undertake those ones. Then we have the second category, which standard, any year group which wants to do it, the budget is such that it's something which you can easily undertake. Then we have the third category where when we look around, we can like call Accra that this item, you can do it by yourself, so you can do it. Yeah, those are very small items that the school offers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So once again, Accra, I think that I don't even know whether actually the time has come. It has always been the time for us to stop thinking small and think big if we are going to positively impact the school. I know, I've been there, I've done 25 years. So I know that there's that thing where each year group wants to, oh, this is ours. But if we are going to really be able to do the big ticket things, sometimes we've got to be able to pool resources to be able to do them. And yes, recognition is important, and we'll find a way of making sure that each year group that did something is recognized. Various things. There have been conversations, for instance, about a wall of fame. So even if you are building a project that will take 5 years, and so you finish yours in year 1, but the building is not finished, so you can't cut a sword, there'll be ways in which to recognize that this year group has contributed X towards a particular something for Achimota School. So let's not be too pedantic on it has to be our project from start to finish, because a lot of the time we start and we even don't finish. So let's do this as team. I'm sure we all know the old adage about wanting to go fast and going alone vis-a-vis wanting to go far and going together. This is Achimota. We will go far and we will go together. So the academic committee is tackling systemic issues at the school through institutional improvements, but they face challenges due to the lack of resources. Once again, money. As a result, they are turning to Accras, who are considered the only permanent stakeholders of the school and friends of Achimota School, for assistance. While the OAA provided some help, there's still much to be accomplished. Improved tuition for students. This suggests a need for better educational resources. We're also looking to retraining of teachers. Under this, there's a desire to enhance the skills and knowledge of the teaching staff, possibly through professional development programs. Motivation for teachers, encouraging teachers to offer extra classes to students who need additional support, especially those who fall short during the exams. And then, of course, the one thing that has become very dear to the hearts of every alumni association in the last decade, the performance of our teams on national science and maths. Mentioning that the teams have not performed well, and we are trying to rally a team and support them in every way to build on the improved performance we saw last year. Last year, we were silver medalists. Hopefully this year, and right through our centenary celebration and thereafter, we will pick up the goal. I think it's worth mentioning also at this point that there's been a change in the leadership of the academic committee, subcommittee, since the last AGM. The academic subcommittee used to be chaired by Accra Yao Bena Amponsa. Accra Yao and his committee made significant progress. However, Accra Yao in particular, I don't know how he survives, but we keep pulling him left, right, center. It's executive today, it's asset fund tomorrow, it's centenary the next day. And so he's thought it wise to try and focus more on some of these other Achimotan commitments. And so the executive committee has appointed Accra Dr. Mary Eshan, who's the principal of GIS and an educationist, to lead the academic subcommittee. So hopefully, she's out of town at the moment, but hopefully the next time we have an AGM, she will be here to report for herself. The Centenary Planning Committee, there will be a report by Accra Harold Sekou, who chairs the committee. But just top line, I can tell you that preparations for Achimota's centenary celebration are well underway, with significant involvement from across various committees based on their expertise and the areas where they desire to help. A theme for the celebration has been chosen, a new logo launched, and a competition for designs for the centenary cloth is currently underway. Here's a breakdown of the updates and plans for Achimota at 100. The Centenary Planning Committee, over 100 Accras have registered for the various subcommittees, each focusing on different aspects of the centenary celebration. The committees include Achimota Speaks, Achimota Subjugates in Worship, Documentation, Finance, Health Walks, Memorabilia, Homecoming, Operas and Drama, Publicity and Sports. Committee activities. Achimota Speaks. This is probably the most active committee because of the nature of what it is that they do. There are two Achimota Speaks events, two events a year. one to coincide with Founders Day, and one to coincide with Speech Day. And that will continue till the centenary celebration, health walks, hence my mix-up. Engaged during the school's birthday, 97th birthday, we promoted physical activity and community health. The plan, once again, is to use the health walks as a means of engaging Accras consistently in the lead up to the centenary. Documentation. This committee has been very busy compiling material for a documentary and a book detailing Achimota School's century-long history. This will likely focus on preserving and sharing the school's oral history and notable alumni stories. The creation of a museum of the Achimota story is also in the offing. The documentary, once again, speaking about multiple pronged attacks on Accras for fundraising, is also just to help tug on the heartstrings of Accras and give them a reason to give as we try to document the story of Achimota. Planning and coordination. Committees have submitted their terms of reference and have been consolidated into one single document. Activities and budgets of each committee are also being finalized and will be presented to the next plenary meeting of the Centenary Committee planned for August 2024. Inclusivity and participation. The celebration aims to involve all stakeholders, current and past students, teachers, non-teaching staff, alumni worldwide, and friends of the school. The Central Planning Committee is poised for widespread participation in various events to ensure the centenary celebration is a resounding success. The collective endeavor will showcase a collaborative approach in honoring Achimota School's centenary milestone, drawing on a variety of activities and inputs from the Accra Nation. It will underscore a blend of historical introspection and dynamic involvement with the goal of uniting stakeholders across generations to rejoice in the school's illustrious heritage. Let's rally together, Accras. The Centenary Planning Committee welcomes all Accras who are genuinely ready to put in the work that will make this a celebration worthy of Achimota at 100 with open arms. And I I'll emphasize that Accras who are genuinely ready, we know ourselves. Some of the time you come for a meeting, you see a few, oh, I joined, and then now you're looking for them for meetings, and they are missing. We know it's a lot of work, but please, when you put your hand up, do the best you can. And when you can't, for whatever reason, please let the committee know so that we don't have to keep chasing people and chasing people and chasing people. In conclusion, I would like to extend heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the Executive Committee and the entire OAA to all individuals and corporates who have contributed in any capacity over the past 2 years. Special appreciation goes out to those who have generously supported the OAA, the Asset Fund, celebrating year groups, and directly contributed to the betterment of the school. I also want to thank and recognize the team, our OAA Secretariat team, led by our Executive Secretary, and our hardworking members of staff. Your work is recognized, your work is appreciated, and we'll continue to count on you, all you do, to help the growth of Achimota. Thank you all for the invaluable contributions and unwavering support. You are indeed the wind beneath our wings. Together, we'll all make the OAA an association we are proud of, one we are happy to belong to, one we all benefit from, and above all, one through which we will proudly give back to our alma mater and make a positive impact on our country through the school that contributed in no small measure to making us who we are today. God be our helper. Thank you very much. Across, we missed the OA dues, but maybe it's good that we are doing it at this time because on the agenda, 7B is new due structure, and we need to ratify what we have decided to do and have done over the last 6 months. Across, do we have the slide? Can we project the slide? Those online can't see it. You can't see. Okay. No, I didn't want the entire slide. I don't want the entire presentation. Just the slide that shows how we've done. So whilst they're trying to do, Accra Glory, how long will it take to do that? Just the slide that shows how we've done, the trend. Just that. And then after that, we'll go to the slide that shows the motion, please. Across to save time, I will move to the headmaster's report, and we'll come back very quickly when this is done, and we'll do the dues and do the motion to ratify it. Okay, Headmaster.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It gives me great pleasure to be invited to participate in this year's annual general meeting of the OAA. I was with you last year. And to be given the opportunity to present a brief situational report on the happenings in the school. I thank the executives of the association for the opportunity, and I acknowledge with lots of gratitude the various forms of assistance the school continues to receive from various year groups of ACRES and individual ACRES. Your alma mater would forever be grateful. Progress of the school. Student population. Currently, the student population stands at 4,672. This comprises of 2,850 girls and 1,822 boys. The breakdown according to classes is as follows. SHS 1, 1,482. SHS 2, 1,509. SHS 3, 1,681. So the total is 4,672. Out of this total, 1,075 are day students and 2,411 are in the boarding house. The school runs a transitional calendar, and so at each particular time, only 2 year groups are in school. As at now, we have only the Form 3s and the Form 1s in school. The Form 1s would vacate on the 9th of July, and the Form 2s will rejoin the Form 3s on the 15th of July. The Form 3s would stay till they finish their final exams. Staff strength. The staff strength as of June 2024 stands at teaching 219 with 142 males and 76 females. Non-teaching 99 with 59 males and 40 females. We have 11 national service personnel with us. I find it sad to announce that the school lost 4 staff members during the course of the academic year. 3 non-teaching members and 1 teacher. All of them have since been buried. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Per the population of the students, the school still requires the services of additional teachers. The non-teaching staff who passed away are yet to be replaced. Interestingly, the non-teaching staff is already woefully inadequate to meet the needs of the school. It is hoped that these vacancies will be filled soon, and the request for additional staff is positively responded to, so that the school will continue to run smoothly and efficiently. Retirement. The following teaching members retired from the Ghana Education Service in the course of the year. Mr. Paul Abankwa, who was the Assistant Headmaster Administration. Mr. Esiama Kufo, who was the former head of the Science Program. Mr. John Reitz Pojuro, former head of chemistry, and Samuel Amehia, a former biology teacher. Discipline. Both students and staff have generally behaved well. The disciplinary issues involving students were dealt with per the rules of the school and the recently released Code of Discipline from Ghana Education Service. Teachers who also neglected their duties were queried accordingly. The expectation is that students and staff would continue to be of excellent behavior so that the school will continue to run smoothly. Infrastructural development. The only project currently ongoing is the construction of an 18-unit classroom block being undertaken by OAA 2000 as their legacy project. The sword cutting for this project took place on the 6th of March 2024. The year group hopes to hand over the completed block early next year. When this block is completed, it will help the school to reduce the number of students per class and also improve teaching and learning. The OAA 1974 and 84 year groups renovated the old assembly hall. I'm very grateful. It's a beautiful place, but I'm told there are a few things they would add, so we are waiting for them. The ultra-modern kitchen, which was started in 2015 by the OAA 1965, would soon be in full use by the matron and her team. They've started, but not in full use. Very soon we'll start. What is yet to be done is the installation of the compressors in the cold room, which is being worked on, and that is where Asset Fund comes in. Currently, there is no government project ongoing in the school. Academic work. Last year, the school registered 1,106 candidates for the WASI. 861, representing 71.75%, scored between 8 A's to 1 A. A total of 882 students out of the total of 1,106, representing 79.75%, qualified to enroll at the tertiary level to study. The school is determined to improve upon these statistics and is working towards that this year. A soft copy of the detailed results will be put on the OAA Executive WhatsApp platform for their perusal and comments. A total of WASI 2024, a total of 1,716 final year students have been registered to take part in this year's West African examination. So teachers of the final year classes are feverishly preparing the candidates so that they can write the examination and be successful. A meeting would soon be held with the parents of the candidates to discuss their awards preparation and the school's expectations of them. In the meantime, the WASI final timetable is out and has been brought to the notice of the candidates. The practical test will start in July and the written papers in August. The exams would end in late September. The mathematics department in particular is organizing a series of tests to help the students improve upon their performance to have a better outcome than that of the previous year. One of such tests was written on Friday, 28th of June, 2024. Other departments are doing remedial teaching to smoothen all the rough edges in preparation of their students towards a more successful outcome. The students have also been given the skills needed to form study groups and do peer teaching to assist each other. Special science classes. Unit classes have been created for the current SHS 1 and SHS 2 science classes. These classes are populated with potential future contestants of the National Science and Maths Quiz Competition, and also to help increase the number of 8As in the sciences. Selection into these classes was done on a competitive basis. Each student had to justify their inclusion into these classes. The teams representing the school are selected from these classes, and particular teachers are selected to teach these classes. monitoring of teachers' attendance at classes. A mechanism had been put into place to enable the management monitor teachers' attendance at classes during normal school hours. The feedback has so far been very good. The names of absentee teachers are published on the staff WhatsApp platform as a means of drawing such teachers' attention to their flawed attitude towards their work for them to make amends. Heads of the various programs are also tasked to present a weekly report on their program about exercises given and marked. This is keeping the teachers and students on their toes, and contact hours are being utilized judiciously. The OAA Academic Committee have been very supportive in the school's quest to achieve excellence, and we are very grateful for their efforts. Co-curricular activities, National Science and Maths quiz. As already known to all of us, the school placed second in the national competition in 2023. The school is determined to improve upon this performance this year. The team representing the school this year has been preparing since the end of last year's competition. The team of teachers who worked with the team last year are all available and working with the current team. The team also participated in various trial quizzes with other schools to sharpen their skills. The OAA president and some members of the executive visited the team and had a very fruitful discussions with them. The issues raised by the students and their teachers are all being dealt with gradually. The school placed third in the regional contest, but had already qualified for the national contest. The management had already met the parents of the SHS2 who would be camped when the school vacates to join in the preparation for the national contest. The parents willingly gave their consent for their parents to participate in the program. The students are motivated to do very well this year, and we expect the team would go all the way out to the finals and possibly win the trophy. The preparation for the competition is becoming very expensive now, and I am asking for continuous support from the OAA and the Parents Association. The OAA has also been very supportive of our international debaters. Last year at AGM, the president appealed for support for a student who had qualified, and the student performed creditably. This year too, one of our students qualified, and we are expecting an improvement in performance. Funding such competitions is very expensive, and we would always knock at your doors for support. Inter-houses and inter-school sports. The annual inter-houses sporting competition was organized from the 8th to the 10th of February 2024. Disciplines featured included athletics, basketball, handball, volleyball, table tennis, badminton, hockey, and football. All 18 boarding houses participated in at all levels. The Physical Education Department used this event to select various teams to represent the school at the zonal inter-schools competition, held from the 26th of February to the 28th of February, 2024 at the Oilwak Sports Stadium. Achimota School will represent the zone in the following disciplines: basketball, girls; badminton, boys and girls; athletics, boys and girls; table tennis, girls, at the Spazonals to be held at Adna SHS from the 8th to the 12th of July 2024. Green Ghana Day. The Chief of Staff of the Republic, Honorable Akosia Frema Oseupari, joined students and staff of the school to plant trees in the school to mark this year. This event took place on Friday, 7th of June, 2024. She was accompanied by the Municipal Chief Executive Officer of the Okankwe North Municipal Assembly, Honorable Boy Lai, and the Circuit Judge of Achimota Circuit Court. Parents Association support. The Parents Association continues to support the school in many ways. The association fully sponsored the conduct of the second mock for the SHS3s. This gesture has been of immense help to the academic calendar of the school. The association still pays the salary of several security personnel it has contracted to provide services to the school. As much as we have the project list, we are also looking at the following. The new kitchen constructed by 1965 is about becoming operational. We have gotten some of the compressors and we are to activate the cold rooms immediately. And so we are asking for help to be able to do them quickly. There's also the need to wall the kitchen because of where it is situated. If we are not careful, the very expensive state-of-the-art equipment that have been installed will be stolen. So we need to wall the place, provide security for the place. Again, with the ever-increasing number of students in the school, the volume of trash generated daily is so much. And the school would require additional dustbins to be placed at vantage points to assist with refuse collection. Donations. There have been a number of donations made to the school by various OAA groups. Most recently, OAA UK donated 22 desktop computers and 153 laptops of different brands to the school. We are indeed grateful for the support. Acknowledgement. The school would continue to register its sincerest gratitude to all our press for the continuous interest in the growth and development of the school and for all the donations received in the course of the year. May this cooperation and mutual understanding and respect continue to inform the relationship between the school and all members of the OAA. We shall continue to knock at your doors whenever the need arises, and management is open to all suggestions that will renew to the benefit of the school. Thank you, and long live Achimota School.
Thank you very much, Accra Headmaster. Are there any questions on the headmaster's reports? Yes, sir, Accra Boche. Can I have Mike on the floor? It is. Those online, yeah. Mike, please.
This is more a question for understanding where we are with our finances. I know we're going to have the accounts presentations very soon, but I'm a little intrigued. In the past, we knew how many terms the school was behind in terms of funding from Get Fund, from government, from wherever. Now that you have next March, from 2 is here, from 3 is not here, how do you reckon and where are we?
I don't know that in the past, the school has necessarily reported the finances to the OAA. It's probably from your vantage point as the board chair, but maybe Accra Headmaster will give us just a little inkling so that when they come begging us, we know how much we have to give them. But just a little inkling, Accra.
Thank you. It's a bit difficult to answer that question because we get our remittances monthly. So sometimes it comes in early, sometimes we have to wait for a month or two. Yes, that's what is happening now. But then when it comes to food supplies, they are in two forms, the perishables and the non-perishables. The non-perishables are supplied by the government. And then the perishables come in terms of cash. Then the matron will request for it. Then sometimes along the line, they give us what we call the recurrent expenditure. And that is used for the maintenance and other things we need as a school. So that is all I can say for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Accra Prof. There's another, somebody please pass the mic to Accra Prof. Accra Prof. Adai Mensah.
Thank you. I have two short questions. You mentioned something about trash. Where does the trash after a collection in the dustbin currently?
Yeah, we have some years back, an incinerator was built for the school, though it's not working now. But that's where we put all the trash when it's collected around the school,
That's
both
what-
from the secondary school and the basic school.
That's what I was coming to, because it was my year group's legacy project.
Oh, I see.
And maintained it for a few years. And then when our coffers dried up, the whole thing collapsed. So I want to know whether there are any plans of reviving that incinerator. Because it was built as a specific request from the school. At that time, refuse was being dumped in front of Agri House, between the dining hall and Agri House. So if we can get to know something about the fate of that incinerator. Now, can I ask my second question, then you can.
Okay.
Just before I came, I received a copy of the 1970 edition of the Achimotan from Accra Unis, and I was intrigued. I think that the magazine is terrible now. Are there any plans to, but it was a purely student project. I know the students are stressed these days, but plans to.
Yes, there are plans. I've met the, I've forgotten their name, the editorial board, and I'm even asking them to start some weekly kind of newsletters. Then at the month, they put these things together and publish. But then it all comes with costs. And now that they are asking us not to collect any money from the students, we are finding it very difficult to publish it. Some of them are ready, but how do we give it to the students? Is it going to be free, or we are going to sell it? And that is where we are now. So once we agree on something to do, you will see it in the system. Thank you. No, the number, I think what was built is now too small compared to the number of students in the school. So when you go there, you might not even see what you built, because it's just that it cannot be used because of the volume of trash that goes there. But
Accra Prof, what I'll suggest is that the board chair is here, the chairman of the board subcommittee on projects is here, the chairman of the OAA projects committee is here. We say they do joint stuff now. I think we should put it on the to-do list of the projects committee to evaluate and add it, whether it's refurbishment or a new incinerator, to the needs list of the school. That way that we can have a comprehensive solution. That said, Accra chair of Accra Prof, the guy who took over from you, Accra chair of the asset fund, he was facing me when the question started, and sideways. That's another potential project for the asset fund. Once again, if we can determine that that's an important need for the school, then it's one of the things that can potentially become a specific project for the asset fund. So that, to your point, when it is that a year group does any project, today is the incinerator, but any project, and you are not in that year group is no more in the position to do regular maintenance, there's method to how we maintain these things. Otherwise, today is the incinerator, tomorrow is something else, but we start, but we never finish. So once again, it goes to the core of why it is that the reworked asset fund is critical to the existence of Ashimoto School. Okay, so I hear that there are a few questions online. We'll take those very quickly, and then we'll move on to the dues and to the rest of the matters. If there are any, and I'll come to, once I've done the dues, that will complete the president's report. And then if there are any questions on the president's report, I will take them as well.
are the questions online. Thanks for updating us on the state of our in the school sports. Do we have any plans to turn our legendary pavilion stands into presentable track and field stadium? This could also assist curb the encroaching of our lands. The second one is, please, what were the results of the last WASI exams of the students? Please, what were the results of the last WASI exams of the students? Did not hear it mentioned. Could the headmaster repeat? Could the headmaster repeat the stats for the WASI results of the students and what the schools plan to improve the numbers of 8As and also boost academic excellence? Could it also be a year groups project to build a recycling plant and possibly compost? This could serve as an avenue for income.
I think we've addressed the last one. Headmaster, if you can kindly, I know you did speak about it in your report, but if you can kindly touch on it real quick and then we'll move on.
For last year's results, out of the 1,106 candidates who were registered, 71.75% scored between 8As and 1A. And a total of 882 students, representing 75.75%, qualified to enroll at the tertiary level to study. And I've promised that a soft copy of the details, because of time, will be put on the OAA executive WhatsApp platform for their perusal and comments. I think when that is done, it can then be
shared. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Accra Headmaster. So Accra Kwame, question on the headmaster's report. Mike, please.
I noticed that the enrollment is steadily declining from SHS3 to SHS1. Is this part of the plan, or this happens to be by? Oh, okay. The question was, the headmaster's report showed that the enrollment is steadily declining from SHS3 to SHS1. And my question was that, is this a conscious plan, or this is just by accident?
Yes, that is what we are trying to do, but we don't talk about it much, otherwise they will hear us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Can we please get the boys and girls figures again?
We have about 2,850 girls and 1,822 boys.
Thank you very much, Accra Headmaster. So Accra's moving back to finishing my report and the section on dues. You'll recall, can we please load up those slides, take the due slides so that those online can follow. I'll read what I have in front of me. Unfortunately, I was hoping that we could project this. I feel so happy about these results. I was actually hoping we could project it so you could see, but I'll try and present it as lucidly as possible. So, as you recall that at the last AGM, there was conversation around our dues, the quantum, and the inadequacy. And so we had resolved that we won't take a decision at that AGM. Oh, it's projected now. Okay. It's here and it's on the slide there as well, for those who can see. Thank you very much. Well, so after that AGM, we took to engaging year group, the various levels. So EXCO met, proposals on what was ideal. And so then we ran it purposely through the various year groups, starting with the year group representative, presidents and representatives body. And we made the case for why it is that we needed to review and all of those things. And that the year group president's body ratified the executive proposal to move from 10 cedis per month to 20 cedis per month, moving from a total per head of 120 per Accra to 240. But the more instructive change was to move from the individual dues paying to one where we pay by year group. The point being that it's always easier to rally around the year group. The year group knows its members more than the mother association will ever know the individual members of the year groups. And that problem gets increasingly worse with the younger generations, where there are thousands per year group. So if we could use the year group to do the rallying and payment, then it improved the chances of success. So that was approved by the year group reps. And so then we implemented, this was in October last year, sent out the word, engaged across on different fora, answered whatever questions, and started from January with the new due structure. Now, just to give us a sense of how impactful that decision has been, you will see on the slide half-year stats of what we've done, a trend from 2019 to 2023. And then I'll tell you what 2024 looks like. From January to June of 2019, we had a total of 1,109 individual across paying their dues, yielding a total half year of 62,123. In 2020, which was an election year, the amount increased. The numbers were 1,016, and the total amount raised was 107,232. Now, we all know that typically in an election year, Accras are more engaged, we attend more, and then when we say if you haven't paid your dues, you can't vote, and suddenly people pay their dues, and then the numbers increase. 2021, the numbers dropped to 84 half year by June, and the amount raised was 94,823. In 2022, by half year, only 650 Accras had paid their dues. The number was 786. I will confirm that in that year, the full year's dues, 2022, was 147, and it's in the audited account, 147,000 cedis, 147,302 Ghana cedis. 2023, last year, by half year, and 446 Accras had paid their dues, yielding 47,687. By the end of the year, we had raised for dues 177,334. So that was the situation then. Thanks to this new initiative, in 2023, by June of this year, next slide, please. As we speak today, 23-year groups have paid their dues. I'm happy to report that beyond the 23-year groups who have paid their dues for 2024, some other year groups who we call the high achievers have actually even paid beyond 2024, 2025, 2026. And in the case of the way the 1977 people are looking at me, if I don't mention their special, don't do a show next year. In the case of the 1977 year group, they've actually paid all the way to the Jubilee year in 2027. But this, yes, they all deserve a round of applause. But this computation doesn't even include the extras. This is just dues for this current year, 2024. 23-year groups have paid a total to date of 276,000 cedis, which is more than all of last year put together. Okay, true, the number has increased from 10 to 20, but let me also tell you something else you don't see there. Given that we're saying that 50 persons per year group pay that 12,000, the number of participants, engaged people who've paid this dues, is 1,150 Accras to make us 276. We've never seen that level of engagement of Accras paying their dues. So I'm very happy. As an EXCO, we are very happy and want to say a big thank you to all Accras, but also to the year group presidents and the treasurers and whoever it is who've gone around chasing to make sure that we have these numbers. I'm very confident. We've also introduced the publishing of the league table, and we've said that all Accras who were the first 5 Accra year groups to pay will be honored. Will receive awards at this year's President's Ball, and we will do exactly that. So there will be rewards for Accras who show up and do what it is that's required to support our association. But this then takes me to what we need to do today. Even though this was a decision, we've gone through the process and okayed it, it's still important that the AGM, which is the highest decision-making body of the OAA, ratifies the decision that all of us of Accras have already started implementing. And so we have a motion for the consideration of the AGM. Can you please put up the motion now? Next slide. That's the document, but the next slide, please. Thank you. So we have a motion that the 2024 AGM, this AGM, ratifies the change in dues from individual payments to year group payments effective January 2024. That the dues be increased from 10 cedis a month per individual to 20 cedis per month to 12,000 per year group for each year group. That over and above that, to make sure that once again we incentivize people to do the right thing, only members of fully paid up year groups be eligible to stand for any OAA office. That only members of fully paid up year groups are eligible to nominate Accras for any OAA office. That only members of fully paid up year groups are eligible to vote during OAA elections. And only members of fully paid up year groups will be eligible for consideration for any protocol support from the OAA. The mover is yours truly, and this motion is seconded by Accra Antoinette, the treasurer, who sits to my left. So that's our motion for consideration, Accras. Effective, the vote, the part about do not do starts from next year because we're already at the AGM and it hasn't been ratified. So this is for ratification of the dues effective January and everything else for implementation at the next AGM. So that's moved and seconded. Can I have all who disagree? Any objections? Mike, please. Accra. Yeah, okay, good. Accra Prof.
What's the situation groups that are not supposed to pay?
Okay, so the year groups, this structure captures 40 year groups. 41. Those who've just turned 50 in the year in question, that's their last payment. So it's 50, and then all the way to those who are yet to turn, who have just turned 10. So 0 to 9 don't pay, over 50 don't pay. However, all Accras in these year groups who are able to and are minded to are free to contribute or pay dues as per the figure or whatever they're able to the OAA Secretariat. But the year groups are not required to collect and pay. So they're not mandated to pay. But we're open to receive any contributions that either the older year groups or the younger year groups are able to pay, to contribute. Accra Prof, does that answer your question? Thank you very much. The online people. Okay. What can we read out any comments there may be? Accra Shiloh. So while Accra Shiloh is there, we'll get ready to read. I hear there are a few comments online. Accra Shiloh.
Okay, thank you. I think what Prof requested should be added to the motion so that it's captured. And I think we should set a period for review of fees, looking at the dollar and the CD, and the time you set the figure and the next AGM, so you have to factor that into the motion. Thank you.
Fair comment. Okay. Okay. Akwalesi, thank you very much. Online comments, please.
One Accra says impressive. Another Accra says I disagree. Another Accra says, given that dues are paid by the year groups and represent individual dues for 50 persons, how do we determine OAA members in good standing? Some year groups have over 500 members, and not everyone may have contributed to the dues. Another says, I respectfully disagree with punishing Accras for their year group's inefficiencies. Another says, it puts the people who pay their dues at a disadvantage if the year group is not in good standing. Another says, I disagree. What if you cannot count on your year group and you duly pay your dues? What happens? Another says, I second what Charles said. I cannot trust my year group to be good standing. That's all, Accra President.
Akras, fortunately, I can trust my year group. Otherwise, we'll be in all kinds of trouble. Fortunately, most of these questions, maybe these Accras are relatively new to the process, but a lot of these questions were actually asked and answered as we went through the process. So I'll try and answer some of them. The thing about year groups, 500 people, the reason why it's only 50 is that beyond your obligation to the OAA or the AOA secretariat, the individual year groups also have things that you need to do, whether it's welfare, whether it's funeral contributions, this, that, and the other. So what we are saying is only the first 50. So in collecting, if 65 people have paid, the 15 stays with you to be used as is, for whatever it is that the year group requires. But by the same token also, if 35 people have paid, you get the collateral benefit or damage of not having paid. I know for a fact that in these numbers that we are recognizing, not all 50 people have necessarily paid, but the year groups contribute ahead and then take their time and collect. So we are decentralizing the management, if you like, of the dues to the year group level. Unfortunately, yes, there could be problems, but it's still clearly, and we've seen the evidence, the easiest way of bite-sized management of these year groups. And we just can't continue to work at the central level and be as efficient. So what I would encourage all year groups, if there are any challenges, by all means share them, and as OAA National or OAA Secretariat, we'll see how we can engage to help. I have been approached by different year groups where our year group haven't paid, we collected some. Thing is, if your year group pays up, whether it's by 6 people or by 12 people, the entire year group can stand for elections, the entire year group can vote. The reverse is also true. So unless, apart from just disagreeing, unless somebody can come to us and say, based on the evidence on the, not 2 pink sheets, the screens, that there's another way that is better, then my submission is, at least at this point in time in our lives, this is a tried and trusted way of doing this. So I would plead with the Accras to understand and have us proceed as such. Accra Martin.
So I agree fully with what Accra President is saying. So I belong to the 1983 year group. And when I began this journey, we have about 140 people on our platform. Our year group, we probably would have had, I don't know, about 260 people, 140 or so. When we started collection, we managed to collect from about 108 people. And everybody paid up. Some people even paid more, which is why our year group has been able to pay for 3 years. So it's just a case of rallying your troops. And it's something that you all want to make your alma mater proud. So I think we should stick with this and move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Accra Martin. And if I may just add to that, another benefit across of these rallied troops is not just paying dues. When you have your people switched on, it's actually just beneficial to all of you within that year group, whether it's in networking, whether it's in support within the year group. Once you actually engage properly, it makes for a stronger year group and ultimately makes for a stronger OAA. So today, yes, it's about dues collection, but I think it's important. The reason why we get elected as executives of year groups is to ensure the vibrancy of the year group. So if there's anybody there who's just putting up so that they can, when they meet at Antimony, they can say, oh, I've been president of my year group, then there's a problem. But if you are really committed to why it is that you are executive of the year group, then rallying your year group to events, to funerals, to challenges members face, to supporting, all of that is what actually brings us together as a strong alumni body. So please, let's not just look at this as an opportunity to collect money. It's much, much, much more than that. Okay, so not as we don't bug this down, putting this to a vote. Two things. First, we'll vote on the motions as presented, and then we'll add the two motions that Accra Leslie suggested. Can I see by show of hands anybody who's against the motions as presented? Online, we will give 2 minutes to tabulate because the physically present are unanimously approving. Any? So as we don't back the meeting down, please find out whether those three hands are disagreements. We have the role of everybody present here, so it will be everybody present here approves, and if there are disagreements, we'll register the three as disagreements. Across, thank you very much for ratifying these motions. Motion number 2, to Accra Leslie's point, I would suggest that we factor in an annual increment. I don't think that we can sit here and agree on whether we'll increase by 10%, 20%. I think we should leave that with the executive to review year on year and come back to you and factor in an annual increment as and when necessary. So if in a particular year, based on economic circumstances, this, that, and the other, we don't think that there's a need to increase, then there will be no increase. But we'll move a motion to say that we will factor in an annual consideration for increments. That's one. And then the second part is to officially state, but that has already been done, but just to confirm that the year group, any year group older than 50 and any year group younger than 10 is not required to pay. However, as they are minded or as they are able, they can contribute to the running of the secretariat. Can I have somebody move for the motion as I've just stated? Accra Gladys moves. Do we have a seconder? Accra Senna seconds. We have both a seconder and a thirder. Anybody against these motions? Once again, thank you very much, Accra. Unanimously carried within the physical present space. There's one against. Okay, so we'll record that as well. Thank you very much, Accra. We'll go on to the centenary celebrations, and I'll hand over to Accra Vice President Harold Isiku to give us an update on. I'm sorry, Accra. I think there's a mic here, please. Accra Prof.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Now that we've passed this motion and we are all in agreement on the dues payment, I think we would need to revisit our constitution, especially in the definition of persons in good standing. It will be affected by the decision that we've taken. It's important that whatever decisions we take are in full alignment with the Constitution.
Absolutely, Prof. Totally agree. I should have mentioned that because we had discussed having to go back to ratify. So thank you very much for drawing our attention. We'll do that as well. And data constitution, of course, will be circulated to members. Thank you. Accra Vice President.
Thank you very much, Accra President. when he was making the president's speech, he presented 55% of what I had. Yeah, because we are working together. Achimota at 100, the planning committee was formed in October 2023. The first thing we did was to ask for Accras to come up with a theme for the celebration. So a call was sent out to all Accras after a meeting in October, and we received several themes. However, when we met, we were not satisfied with any of the themes that came together. So at that meeting, we had a discussion, put our heads together, and we came up with a theme, which is Achimota at 100, celebrating the vision, honoring the legacy, and inspiring the future. So that's a theme for Achimota at 100. We then launched the competition for the logo as well. That was from 1st December to 31st December. In the last week of December, a few people were clamoring for an extension. Fortunately or unfortunately, we had 18 submissions made up of 26 logos, which were presented by the deadline. So a committee was set up, made up of some chairs of the subcommittees, representatives from the school. Accra headmaster gave us 2 teachers from the visual arts department. We had some Accra creatives, and then some Accras also on the executives came together, evaluated all the logos which were presented, and we came up with a logo which was launched on 28th January, and it's been in front of the administration block since January 28th. In fact, we wanted to tell Accra headmaster that the people stand by to take a picture. The school should charge a small fee. Because literally, when you come around, you see so many people going to stand by it to take a picture with a countdown till the anniversary. And currently, what we have is another competition, which is ongoing till the 31st of July, to come up with a cloth for Achimota at 100. So we have the Achimota at 90, Accra treasurer. We want to see the Achimota at 90 cloth. Accra. Yeah, so that's Achimota at 90 cloth. We want to come up with another one for Achimota at 100. This is the black and white, that's the colored version. So the call has gone out. We are asking all of us to share it on our year group platforms. We don't want the situation where after the logo had been launched, a very senior Accra came up with great ideas of what the logo could be. And we said the logo has been launched already. I mean, the deadline is passed. Over a month after the deadline, please, let's send the message out and get our colleagues involved. Accra president has mentioned the committees we already have in place. I'm not going to repeat it. We have a consolidated TOR made up of what all the various committees have put together, and it's been shared for all the committees. Key thing that we want to do, Achimota at 100 is for Achimota School. Accra headmaster was at our last meeting. Representatives of the school are at every meeting of the Centenary Planning Committee which are held. Accra headmaster has given us the use of the old library as our meeting point. So we meet regularly. For now, we meet once a quarter. All committee members, as we come together, brainstorm, come up with ideas. Our target, what should have been ready by the end of June, should have been our plan for the rest of this year. But we've given ourselves up to the end of July to come up with our plan for the year. Achimota Speaks is one of the key activities which is already on the calendar. And the other thing on our calendar for this year is the 60th anniversary of Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols. We've been told that Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols, the first time it was held in Ghana was in Achimota School in December 1964. So come December 2024 is the 60th anniversary. We want to work together with the school to organize it in a grand something. President says style. So a grand one, and it will be one of the key activities where we'll let people know more about Achimota at 100. And we'll be on air to let everybody know that when they talk about Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols, there are things which are supposed to be done. There's a way it's supposed to, not the kind of things that we are doing today. People don't even appreciate the story behind how the verses are and all of that. So the committee is working together with the school to come up with what we want to do. So basically, those are the key things that we are doing. Most important, we want every Accra living everywhere, diaspora and ahaspora. Please come. Let's work together. We have people sending all kinds of requests. Why are you not doing this? Do this way. We ask, please join us. We can't meet as a committee, discuss, come up with ideas. Then you come from outside and say, throw this away and do it this way. Please join us. Bring your ideas. Let's work together and let's make Achimota at 100 grand. Indeed, one of the challenges, every time I see a new logo coming up or a new theme coming up, following what we have done, Achimota at 100, first, second, third, several people, several themes have come up this year following that same strategy. And well, Achimota at 100, celebrating the vision, honoring the legacy, inspiring the future. A number of themes have already come up this year following when we did this, copying us as usual. I mean, we are the pace setters. So we are asking all of us, please come on board. Let's work together and let's make Achimota at 100. Big success, grand style. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Accra Vice President and Chair of the Centenary Committee. He said something and I looked at him. I don't know if any of you noticed, but it was something I was going to say. So he took the words out of my mouth. It's just a caution. Because we are Accras, because we are the OAA, because we love our school, and because we do so much for the school, sometimes we get as Accras into the mind space where we think that we are the decision makers for the school. We are not. So my caution is, this is not OAA at 100. This is Achimota School at 100. So even though, because we are the OAA, because of our numbers, because of we have the structure, the expertise, and all of this to support, and we will continue to, let's remember that we've got to rope in everybody. And that's why, once again, thanks to Accra Headmaster, all the committees have representatives of the school. They've been involved from day one, whether it's with the choice of the theme, this, that, and the other. It's Achimota School celebrating 100. And also, we want to make sure that everybody who's in that Achimota School space is part of the process. So it's not just teaching staff, it's teaching and non-teaching staff. And we've been specific in trying to separate the two. When you say staff, sometimes you get lost in the whole, is that it's everybody. It's students, it's day students, it's past students, it's everybody. It's teachers, it's management, it's the board, and of course, it's the OAA. So we are leading the charge. We are rallying everybody, and everybody who's interested, anybody who's interested anywhere in the world, please come support. Let's make this a memorable Achimotan celebration. Thank you very much again, Accra Harosiku. The next on our agenda is a report from the Achimota School Endowment Trust Fund. And so, are there questions on the centenary celebration? I didn't think there would be. Okay, thank you very much. So Accra, is there a mic on the floor for Accra Fin, please? Accra Fin, the floor is yours.
Good evening. Good afternoon. My name is Kofi Fin and I chair the Achimota School Endowment Trust Fund. And I hereby submit a report to the general meeting for the year under review 2023. Membership of the board at the end of the year 2023 were as follows. We had the following ex officio members: Accra Ernest Aite, who's the board chair; Accra Joel, the OAA president; Accra Antoinette, OAA treasurer; the headmaster; and Accra Eunice, the OAA executive secretary. Other members were Accra Sandra Apiaje, who's sitting over there; Nala Mlemisa; Sharon Mills; Accra Yaobena Mponsa; Accra Alexis Yedu; Accra Sena Xiao Boateng, who's also quietly sitting over there, and Accra, I call Spielgabra. Let's talk about the activities of the board last year. We'll start with changes in the membership of the board. Following the elections held at the general meeting in 2023, new trustees were selected by the OAA to replace departing ones. We would like to use this opportunity to thank Accra Gladys Kwashi Short, Accra Osei Kwame Ajiman, Accra Charles Ivan Anfom, Accra Ebenezer Sako Ado Mensa, Accra Kwamina Akwa, and the outgone chairman of the board, Accra Professor Ivan Adai Mensa, for their years of selfless service and dedication to Achimota School through the work of the Asset Fund. Meetings. The board met 8 times during the year and held both physical and virtual meetings. Board committee structures. During the year, the board established the following 5 committees to ensure that necessary focus was being applied to the development and execution of its key initiatives. The committees were the Operational Excellence Committee, Marketing Committee, Investment Committee, the Accra Engagement Committee, and the Corporate and Endowments Engagement Committee. The following Accras graciously accepted the call to be co-opted into these committees and to lend their time, expertise, and experience. We're grateful to Accra Kwame Antichi, Accra Kisei Antonio, Accra Joel Ama, Accra Philip Ashon, Accra Kwiku Dankwa, Sena Jikunu, Joanna Grant, Jerry Parks, and Cynthia Sala for answering our call. We hope that their example will lead others to give of themselves towards the important work that the Assets Fund is doing. New initiatives. The board introduced the following new initiatives during the year, most of which were completed post the end of the year. The first was the review of the Asset Fund trust deed. The board commenced the review of the trust deed. As a result, a new trust deed has been signed among the trustees, the OAA, and Achimota School. This gives the trustees increased ability to align the needs of Achimota School with the interests of donors. It also allows us to raise funds for the school on both operating and capital basis. These changes will allow us to reach a broader universe of donors and to better support the OAA's assistance to the school. Opening of a custody account. We commenced the process to open a custody account with Standard Chartered Bank. Unlike regular bank accounts, custody accounts provide investors with specialized services required for investments. They also afford a higher level of safety as the assets they hold are segregated from the assets of the bank. We are glad to see that the account has been successfully opened and we're in the process of migrating our assets to it. Development of branding and communication guides. The fund now has a standard for how it presents its brand to the world along the different communication channels through which it shares and receives information. This becomes especially important as we ramp up our outreach to Ghanaian and international corporates and endowments for donations. Development of an investment policy statement. The investment policy statement is a guide to ensure that trustees have clearly identified the investment objectives that they are working towards and that they are making the appropriate asset allocation and risk management decisions for the growth and protection of the fund. Development of an asset fund website. Planning for a website for the asset fund was started last year, with development work initiated this year. We're still at work on it. Once launched, this website will make it easier for us to get information on the fund, make contributions to the funds we want to, track our history of giving, and generate appropriate reports for tax and records purposes. Establishment of charitable status for the asset fund in different jurisdictions. Accras in the United States can now make tax-deductible contributions to the asset fund through a U.S. charitable entity. We would like to thank Accra Silofori for his tenacity and drive in leading the work to the establishment of this entity and for making the first contribution into it. We would also like to thank Accra Julius Boache and Accra Clarence Sarkodiado, who with Cyril, myself, and the OAA president formed the first set of trustees for this US entity. In Ghana, the asset fund has completed its application with the authorities for a similar tax beneficial status to be granted, and we await the outcome. We expect that we'll be able to work with Accras all over the world to establish these entities, making it easier for Accras and Friends of Achimota School to give. Payment of the asset fund levy. During the year 2023, 40 year groups honored their obligation to the asset fund, resulting in collections of 20,000 cedis for the year. With the new dues regime of the OAA, we expect better outcomes going forward. We had asked for 2,000 cedis. That was what the 2 was. It wasn't 2 years. It was 2,000 cedis, but we got 1. We'll continue to engage. Year groups will now make 1 contribution to the OAA. We believe that it allows the fund to speak to Accras and year groups on the basis of their charitable giving, as opposed to speaking to them on the basis of obligation, which is what we've done in the past. And we've already seen the impact of this. There were 8 donations towards the $1 Million Funding Initiative in 2023. We would like to acknowledge Accra, Mirinibenya, ZPay, the OAA 72, 77, 82, and plus 233 Grill, Accra Yvonne Apia, Joseph and Dorothy Adomakimensa, Accra Sandra Apia J, and Accra Antoinette Kofi. That makes 7. I'd like to make special mention of the 8th donation from Accra Ya Echahajiman, who with her husband, Accra Sete, were staunch supporters of the asset fund over the years. May their souls rest in peace. Investments. The allocation of the fund remains highly liquid, with investments mainly in low-risk assets. At the end of the year, 54% of the assets were in Ghana cedi and US dollar cash, 26% was in mutual funds, and 20% held in Government of Ghana Treasury bills. This allocation is appropriate given the small size of the fund and will be reviewed as the fund size grows. The investment committee of the asset fund continues to oversee these investments and will make the determination of the appropriate time to change the asset allocation and to utilize the services of an external fund manager. Updates year to date. The size of the assets fund as of May 2024 was 2.2 million Ghana cedis, allocated as follows: US dollar cash, 41%, Ghana cedi cash, 31%, Government of Ghana Treasury bills, 12%, mutual funds, 17%. The revised trust deed has enabled the establishment of different funds under the endowment, which can be used for both capital and operating purposes. To date, there are 21 capital funds consisting of the unrestricted fund, the 99-year group fund established by OAA 99 as their anniversary project, the Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, or STEM fund, and 18 house funds, 1 for each house. In addition to these, 3 operating funds have been created to receive year group levies, to support the operations of the asset fund itself, and to receive operating funds for the support of OAA projects at the school. The asset fund is better able to support year groups, individuals, and any grouping or association of Accras to effectively manage and direct their giving to the school. Reach out to us and let us work together to make our alma mater even better than it already is. house endowment funds, and inter-houses competition. We started in April a competition to seed and grow the 18 house endowment funds. We would like to use this opportunity to remind the association of why we are doing this. The boarding houses, which form the center of student life at Achimota School, need to be maintained and upgraded, and there are not sufficient funds to do so. An endowment for each fund ensures that there is a capital base, the income from which we can support the house. We encourage Accras from each house to take up the challenge, organize themselves, and give. The competition makes it fun, but let's keep our eyes on the main prize. The boarding houses need help, and these funds can provide it. So we're now 2 months in. June 21st was the end of the second month of the competition, and we have some results to share. At the end of the first month, Fraser House was in the lead. As we used to say in school, the thief start. It was not for long. If we can have the results on the screen, it's actually quite tiny, but let me read through it for the benefit of everyone. In first place is Stopford House. OAA or House 18, depending on which generation you are from.
Thank you. It's both. Thank you.
Stopford House, yet competition to date has raised 103,049 cedis. Let us think about what this means. This money will be invested and it will not be touched. The income from it is what will be used to support the maintenance and upkeep of Stopford House. If next year you're driving around the school and you see that it's looking better than the others, you will know why. Second place, I can see the Fraser House, 12 people looking at me. They are still in second place. Unfortunately, the number did not change from last month. So something happened in the first month that they could not repeat. If this continues, they will be last. In third place is Kingsley House. They have moved up from fourth place to third place. Fraser has 51,400, and then it drops off to Kingsley House, 7,600. Let me run through the rest very quickly. McCarthy House, 5,550. Agri House, 4,800. SOA House 11, 4,545. Slezzer House, 4,153. From zero. It's progress. Cadbury House, 3,027. Clark, 2,690. Biter House, House 17, 1,650. Livingston House, 1,100.
Mr. Chairman, what house were you in?
I was in Livingston House. Yes. We might be slow starters, but that's 11th place. Lugard House, 626. Jamfi.
Mr. Chairman, 1 second. The Vice President wants to say something.
No comment.
Jamfi House, 351, and then it falls off. There are a few houses that have had no contributions. Some of them are understandable. They are younger houses who have to do additional work to get the alums gingered up. But Gudgesberg House does not have an excuse. I will leave it at that. There is a direct correlation in these numbers between the number of contributions. Zero. There's a direct contribution between the number of people who contribute and the amount. It doesn't mean that you have a lot of people making large contributions. It just means that there is activity in the house. Stopford House has been active. They have people who are rallying the troops, getting them aligned. It doesn't matter if the giving is 50 cedis 100 cedis or 20,000 cedis. We just need everybody to participate and give to this worthy cause. There's a lot of information online for everybody who needs most of it, and this will be posted as well. Auditor update. Beginning with the 2024 financial year, the audit firm of Ernst & Young, EY, will be undertaking the task of providing assurance and audit services to the asset fund. They have graciously agreed to do this work on a pro bono basis as a contribution to the fund, and we're grateful to them. We will use this opportunity to thank BLA and Associates, the outgoing auditors, for their years of dedicated work. Accra Bosman Lai, the Asset Fund is grateful. And we thank you for accepting our request to continue to give us advice and counsel in financial and accounting matters. Financial statements, those are attached to the document, and I hope you've all been able to scan the QR code. Finally, let me leave with some acknowledgements. In as much as their contribution was made in 2024 and not 2023, I want to acknowledge OAA 99. They established and seeded a capital fund as part of the anniversary celebration. This is pace-setting work. The significant increase we have seen in the fund is because of what they have done. And that gift will keep on giving. So if Stopford is going to get 20,000 cedis a year for that house, the OAA 1999 fund will be able to give significantly more each year to the school on an ongoing and permanent basis. So thank you. We look forward to working with OAA 74 and 84 year groups towards establishing an endowment to maintain the assembly hall. And we've already started the conversations. And working with the OAA 75 and 85 year groups, they have taken on the task of improving STEM education in the school and on seeding the STEM fund as part of the anniversary project. So we look forward to their work. Thank you very much, and I'll take any questions.
Thank you very much, Accra Kofi, Chairman Kofi Finn. Are there any questions for the Asset Fund? I see a hand up back there. Kofi.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Accra Matado of the 2016 year group. My question is about the centenary celebrations. I was a bit confused with the asset fund and also the centenary, because I remember there was a goal to raise $10 million. Yeah, so is it that $10 million is going to be managed by the asset fund? Because it looks like under the asset funds, there are several different funds, separate funds you are raising. To me personally, it looks a bit confusing. I just want a little bit of clarification, especially on the $10 million. Because I think that was a bigger goal, so that at least the school can be dependent on that, and probably the burden of every year group contributing for several projects will be reduced, and they can do their own several stuff. So that's my question.
Okay, that's a very good question, actually. And I think that was an omission on our part. The $10 million target does not go away. The asset fund has the target of having a total endowment of $10 million by the centenary year. That's non-negotiable, and that's what we're working towards. However, the composition of that $10 million can be varied. It depends on what people want to give their money for, and ensuring that that giving is also aligned with what the school needs. If we're able to connect those two, you have the formula to increase giving.
right? So if we take the STEM fund, for example, it's a capital fund, it's a part of the endowment. It's going to be part of that $10 million. Who are the entities that are most interested in giving towards science, technology, engineering, and math education? Their giving is usually towards that. If we go to them and we say give to Achimota School, the alignment might not be there. But if we say give towards science and technology education at Achimota School, you can get better alignment, both here and globally. We're not restricting ourselves to Ghana. So that's what the part of the strategy is, right? Now, there are some people who want to give in a way that is more operational. We're not going to say don't bring the money. The school needs it. That money will not contribute to the 10 million. It is not part of the capital fund. But the goal for the capital fund, which can consist of a number of different funds with different purposes, as permanent endowments to the school, there can be many of them. The marketing is going to be challenging, I agree, right? It depends on us having the ability to target appropriately and to focus specifically on entities that have a certain affinity. All right. Thank you. Does that answer the question?
Accra Martin, entry 83. Just a bit of clarification. Are all day students allocated a house? I'm just thinking about the competition we're doing now. Does this exclude day students, or can we include them one way or the other? Thank you.
That's another good question, because I believe that in recent years, all these students are allocated to a non-residential house. It's a virtual house, right? I don't expect that there's going to be significant affinity to the house in the same way that you have for the places where you stayed, and there is no physical structure is there a physical structure? No. There's no physical structure for which we're going to make those contributions. So we have to find alternatives for them. They are one of the 18. The contributions up to now are 0. So they are essentially not being included in this campaign, but there are other ways that we can be able to engage them towards their giving to the school. So we'll do that. We also have examples of people who belong to boarding houses who do not want to give to that boarding house for whatever reason. But they can still give to the school because we find other alternatives for them to do so.
Mr. Chairman, I find that is it deliberate policy that day students are not assigned to any house? Because I know that the practice, especially in the universities, is that once you're passing through the university, you are affiliated to a hall. Whether you stay in the hall or not, you call yourself a member of the hall, no matter where. And this obtains in countries other than Ghana. So is it a GES policy that if you are a day student, you are a day student? Because belonging to the school, if the school is a boarding school, is, where you are supposed to be resident or affiliated to.
It was deliberate in the sense that we now have a lot of day students. And I'm told during inter-houses and other things that are being done in the school, most day students affiliated to houses do not take part. So it was a decision that was taken that they should put them together so that they also compete. And that was like as non-resident. Yeah, and they are doing well because last year they were first.
Then let's give them a name.
Yes,
non-resident house or virtual house.
So the list I gave, the name is there, that we should give day house a name.
Day house. Okay.
Agrapo, this one there, over to you. and the naming committee. So figure out an appropriate name to propose to the board, and then we shall be advised accordingly. Accra President, Accra Sarah, was that your question? Asked and answered? Awesome. Okay. Okay, so we'll move once again. So Kuzunik House. I can't think of a better name for a virtual house than Kuzunik House. Okay, so we don't back the meeting down too much. It's already past 4. Let's take a couple of questions from online, and then we will move on.
Very impressive presentation by the Asset Fund. Is there a document or site that outlines the use, budget, annual report of OAA funds placed in an account in the name of Old Achimota Association? Such a document is frequently asked for as one encourages others to pay their dues. Asset, well done. Well done. Great and detailed presentation. Great job, Asset team. Will Asset Fund contribute to the Sentinel celebration? Excellent and thorough presentation by all thus far. Great job, congrats. Is there a list of the various endowments held within the Asset Fund? During our time, day students were allocated houses. In the past, students were still assigned houses and represented by those in the house. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Accra Kofi, if you want to answer the thing about, I know the website is work in progress, but you don't just answer it quickly and then.
We have an FAQ, frequently asked questions, that handles most of these questions that are being put out. So we'll make sure that we circulate it even more broadly. If the year group presidents can help us put it on the year group platforms, we'll put it out again. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think the Asset Fund deserves a huge round of applause.
What? I need to just say thank you to my fellow trustees. They've been phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. The fact that Stofford is in the league, yeah, it's a. But for the fact that he's my vice president, my senior, I would have. Anyway, so look, one of the things I said to this house 2 years ago when we took over was that we needed to revamp the Asset Fund. And I said we were going to put a lot of effort behind it. And you can see clearly, thanks to the hard work that the trustees have put in. Meeting like he said, what, 8 meetings? I don't think that's meetings. When you add subcommittee meetings, it's like zillions of meetings. So thank you very much, Accra Kofi, Accra Yao, Accra Sena, Accra Sandra, who else is here? Accra Antoinette, Accra Headmaster, Accra Eunice, Accra. I'm talking about the ones who are here first. And then, of course, the ones that are not here, Accra Sharon, Accra Alexis Edu, everybody. I mean, it's been a yeoman's job trying to make this happen. Accra Kofi, the point you just made, I'm so confident that Stofford House are going to win anyway. Let me just share some of the things that we've done to get us where we are today. To his point, I think it's the rallying. And what we've tried to do is to break it down by year group, right? So even within the house structure, there were people in 90 days, 90 that, blah, blah, blah. So assign somebody in those year groups to chase the other people. It comes back to similar to our due strategy. Bite-sized works. When you're trying to reach people who don't even know you, you were in the same house, they left 8 years before you came, it's always difficult. But when you can put faces to the names, it's easier. So my suggestion would be, let's get within the houses and within any OA endeavor, a few people who know the respective people. And then that way you can rally. And then the numbers. In our collection so far, yes, there have been a few people who've given heavy donations, but it's also been the quantity, the numbers. It's important that everybody, as we give to the Achimota School, knows that once you pass through, it behoves on you to give something back as you are able, as in whether that's what you can afford, that's what you can afford at that particular point in time, just give. The other thing is to give regularly. So somebody may be able to do $10,000 today. Some may be able to do 100 cedis every month ad infinitum. Depending on your own circumstances, whatever it is that you're able to do, I think the most important thing is to commit to doing it and doing it regularly. So we're the target, I don't know if you mentioned this, Kofi, I didn't hear that, but the target was $100,000 per house by the end of the year. Even the 100,000 cedis is a long shot from that. So we have a lot of work to do. So please, let's go away from here, encouraging everybody to start to give. You make Stopford your target, you will lose, but make Stopford your target to try to beat us. And then the final point is the FAQs. I find from the Stopford experience, especially for our Cross who live outside, questions about their tax deductibles, this, that, and the other, you can't possibly answer every single question. But the FAQ is a document that you can always refer to. When we posted the FAQ document, people came back, oh, I understand, oh, it's clear, and then the donation happened. So please, if there are any questions, let's share the FAQ document. It will answer questions, and then we can move on from there. Thank you so very much once again to the Asset Fund team. I'll hand over now. Oh, before, maybe we should let Accra Bosman finish the accounts. But I wanted us to have him rise, so we'll do that now. And actually, on the back of the Asset Fund presentation, acknowledge him. And they were, please, ladies and gentlemen, a standing ovation to Bosman Lai for all the work that they've done, not just for the Asset Fund, but for the OAA over the years. Over 20 years. Thank you so very much. Zero charge. All, and yeah, all our 5 CDs, 2 CDs, 3 CDs, we didn't record it well. We went back, we came forth. 90th anniversary, all of it pro bono. I think it deserves a round of applause. Thank you so very much, Accra Bosman. Okay, so Accra Antoinette, over to you for both audited accounts.
Thank you very much, Accra Chair. Good afternoon once again, fellow Accras. I'd ask Accra Bosman to read his independent auditor's report, and then I'll present the financials. For Asset Fund first.
I'll read the opinion and then go back to the other legal and regulatory requirements. Independent Auditors Report to the members of the Old Achimota School Endowment Trust Fund. Opinion. We have audited the accompanying financial statements of Achimota School Endowment Trust Fund, which comprise of a statement of financial position as at 31st December 2023, income and expenditure statement, and accumulated fund account, and cash flow statement for the year then ended, and notes to the financial statements, which include a summary of significant accounting policies as set out on pages 8 to 9. In our opinion, proper books of account have been kept, and the financial statements, which are in agreement therewith, give a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the fund as at 31st December 2023, and of the income and expenditure statement and cash flow statement for the year then ended, and comply with International Financial Reporting Standards and the Ghana Companies Act 2019, Act 992. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Compliance with the requirements of Section 137 of the Companies Act 2019, Act 992. We have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. In our opinion, proper books of accounts have been kept, and the financial position, income and expenditure statement, and accumulated fund account are in agreement with the books of account. This is signed by Bosman Lai on behalf of BLA Associates, dated 28th June 2024. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Accra Bosman. I'll start with a statement of financial position as of 31st December 2020. The asset fund ended the year 2023 with a cash and bank balance of 659,998 cedis, which was an increase from the 2022 position of 441,231 due to the, and that is driven by the additional contributions and donations that we received. Our investments came to 563,026 cedis, also up from 414,383 cedis. And our investments are mostly in, I believe the chair actually outlined that we have some mutual funds, we have some treasury bills, and that those make up our investments. And our total asset base at the end of 2023 was 1,223,024, which was an increase from the 855,614 that we ended 2022 with. In terms of current liabilities, we had to, accounts payables and accruals for pension funds for the office administrator, which was paid in the month of January, had to be accrued for. This was funded by our accumulated fund of 868,821, a fair valuation reserve on our investment of 103,263, and the $1 million fund, which stood at 250,570 at the end of the year. And that was the state of our financial position at the end of 31st December 2023. I would move on to the income statement. So our income statement outlines the fact that we made income of 257,270 cedis, up from 176,221 in the year 2022. And this came from year group levies. It came from investment income. We also had exchange gains on our dollar deposits, and we had some Momo interest among others. And those make up the income of 257,270 for the year. Our expenditure for 2023 totaled 39,492 cedis. And for the expenditure, it mainly had to, the bulk of it was for about 80% of it was for salaries and wages for the office manager. And then we had to spend on some repairs and maintenance, registration and licensing, transportation, and also some accountancy fees, not audit fees, accountancy fees. So that makes up our expenditure for 2023 of 39,492. Consequently, we made a surplus for the year 2023 of 217,777, up from 148,308 for the year 2022. I already spoke about accumulated fund position, and so I'll touch briefly on our cash flows. So our cash flows in terms from operating activities, it's mainly what our surplus for the year, and the accounts payable increase that we saw in the year. We invested in treasury bills. We already hold some mutual fund. We held mutual funds, but we invested some more in treasury bills in year from the additional donations we got during the year. The $1 million fund, we received an additional 115,316 in terms of inflows. And that is what is added to the cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the year to give us the cash and cash equivalent I reported in the statement of financial position of 659,998. There is a table there that says how much was held in cash, with the majority in the bank. And that brings me to the end of the primary financial statements for the asset fund. And with the notes are there to support it. I'll pause here and take any questions you may have.
Just a quick question on note number 2. The balance that we have as cash at bank, 656,287, is that cash held in a current account or is it in a call account?
The bulk of that cash is actually dollar. It's a dollar balance and it's held in a dollar savings account. We don't earn a lot of interest or very little interest on it. We don't get interest on it. However, just by holding it in dollars in our consistently depreciating economy, we get a return that is maybe a lot higher than we would have gotten by investing it in some fund somewhere. If there are no further questions online, okay.
The asset fund should consider establishing a legacy giving program which will involve reaching out to Accras to designate a percentage of their estate for the asset fund. This involves personal outreach. Social media appeals do not work. Thank you. I am incredibly dissatisfied that those of us who gave $1,000 in good faith as soon as the 10 million was launched are now being told that our contribution cannot be linked to our houses. This is most unfortunate. Can the asset fund team please revisit this? Well done, Accra Bossman. God bless you in all your endeavors for your alma mater. Thank you, Accra Bossman. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Could the accounts be projected? I support the legacy giving program. Estate planning can be very useful. We need the projected account reports to appreciate.
Okay, I'll attempt to answer on behalf of the asset fund chair, or maybe you should answer.
This was a question that came when I was presenting. Okay. So the competition started April 21st. That's when we started the competition, and that's when those funds were created. Unfortunately, it will be unfair for us to go back. Otherwise, we'll have to go back and take every contribution that has come in and try to allocate it to a house. They are part of the unrestricted fund. They are going to be used for the benefit of the school. It's going to be invested in the same way, except that it's not going to be part of the competition and it's not going to support directly the boarding houses. The house endowment funds cannot be used for anything else. They can only be used for the maintenance and upkeep of the specific boarding house. So I'll encourage the Accra to make another contribution to her house. Thank you.
Accra Chairman, thank you very much. I was going to say exactly that the donations were very specific back in the day. I made a contribution as well, and it was to the general fund. So I think the critical thing is the point that Accra Kofifin made to the earlier question about the multiple funds. They are all targeted towards the 10 million. So whatever 1,000 you made, 10,000, 5,000 you made, hasn't gotten lost. It's still there and it's still accruing towards the original 10 million. However, given that 10 million is not exactly chicken feed, we are going to have to come back to you over and over and over again with various things that you want to support. One of such is the boarding house. So tomorrow may be the Cadet Square. Tomorrow it may be STEM. Tomorrow just please donate as you are able, recognizing that $1,000 is a big contribution that you've made to the general, or whatever you want to do to support your house, whether that's another 1,000 or 2,000 in CDs, dollars, or euros, please go ahead and do that. So whatever donations you made are definitely not lost. It's still specifically being held towards what you originally purposed it for. So thank you so very much, Chris.
Thank you very much. So Accra President, if that brings me to the end of the financials, and I'd like to lay it for approval. I move that the asset fund accounts financial statements for 2023 as presented be hereby approved by the AGM.
Thank you, Accra Treasurer. Do we have a seconder? I see seconds and thirds from the Jibeg and McCarthy House people on the far left. Thank you very much, Accra Harold. Thank you very much, Accra Young. Can I see a vote? Can I see hands up for the adoption of the minutes as presented? Account as presented. Okay. Any votes against? Thank you very much. The accounts are adopted. Online? Objecting to the anybody? Oh, seconded online. Okay. So we have physical and virtual seconds. Thank you very much. So we'll move on once again for time to the OAA accounts.
Thank you very much. OAA accounts.
Independent auditors report to the members of Old Achimota Association. Opinion. We have audited the accompanying financial statements of Old Achimota Association, which comprise of a statement of financial position as at 31st December 2023, income and expenditure statement, and accumulated fund account and cash flow statement for the year then ended, and notes to the financial statements, which include a summary of significant accounting policies as set out on pages 8 to 12. In our opinion, proper books of account have been kept, and the financial statements, which are an agreement therewith, give a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the association at 31st December 2023, and of income and expenditure statement and cash flow statement for the year then ended, and comply with international financial reporting standards, the Ghana Companies Act 2019, Act 992. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Compliance with the requirements of Section 137, the Companies Act 2019, Act 992. We have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. In our opinion, proper books of account have been kept, and the statement of financial position and income statement and accumulated fund account are in agreement with the books of account, signed by Bosmanila Lai on behalf of BLA and Associates, dated 28th June 2024. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our independent auditor. I'd like to lay before the AGM the financial statements, the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2023. I'll start off with a statement of financial position. In 2023, we ended with fixed assets of 66,891 cedis, up from 3,451 cedis for 2022. And this is driven by the purchase of some laptops for the secretariat staff. The old laptops were out of life, and so we had to purchase new ones, and that was driving the increase in fixed assets. Our investments were fairly flat, so it was mainly the investments from 2022 which were rolled over for 2023. So that was 169,004 cedis at the end of 2023. Bank and cash of 452,763, up from 397,524 for 2022. Here again, I'd like to say that the bulk of the bank and cash was actually USD funds that we held in the accounts. There was very little CD cash that we left in the accounts. In terms of liabilities, we had we received 100,000 cedis from 1 year group that's undertaking a solar project, but they are collecting their money over time. So they lodged what they had collected so far with us, and we will pay it out as and when they have as and when they've collected enough money to undertake their project. And so that's what's showing as a capacity for solar project of 100,000. Accounts payables and accruals, 23,800, down from the previous year. And relates mainly to some payments that we had to make in the month of, they were due in December, but we paid them in January. That gave us a net current position of 564,858, up marginally from the 541,480 observed in 2022. This was the funds employed to support this was the accumulated fund of 526,070 cedis and the fair valuation reserve of 38,788. I'd like to move on to the statement of income and expenditure. For the year 2023, we had income of 475,753 cedis. And that was mainly made up of dues. About 177,000 of that was from dues. We had about 121,000 of that from souvenir sales. And then the other big ticket item was sponsorship that we received for Achimota Speaks. This was about Achimota Speaks and then a few other things. And that came up to about 65,000. So those are the main drivers of our income line for 2023. We spent 485,426. And the expenses, the bulk of the expenses, about 95,000 of it was for salaries and allowances for the secretariat staff. But the biggest ticket item in terms of the expenditure was our stock of souvenirs ran out during the year, and we had to purchase a new set to be sold for the next couple of years, and that was about 136,451. And then there are Achimota Speaks expenses, induction, OAA induction, annual general meeting, memorial and Thanksgiving service, amongst others, which accounted for the expenses that we saw of 485,426. For the year 2023, therefore, we made a deficit of 9,674 on our core operations, but we had other income of 37,536, which left us a surplus for the year of 27,861. In terms of the other income, the key drivers for the other income were interest on treasury bills and also foreign exchange gains on our dollar deposits. We had a few other receipts for different things throughout the year. So yes, our surplus for the year, 27,861. This was added to our opening balance of the accumulated fund to give us the closing position of 526,070, up from the 498,209, which had been reported for 2022. In terms of our cash flows, we had net cash from operating activities, which was from the income that we received less the operating activities. We purchased some assets. I mentioned the treasury, I mentioned the laptops for the secretariat, amongst others. And then there's a fair valuation reserve, which meant that our investment and investing activities summed up to about 85,939. There was no loan, and the net effect of these led to an increase in our cash and cash equivalents to give us the position at the end of the year of 621,767, which I reported earlier. And this is held, about 452,763 of it is held as cash at bank, the bulk of it being in dollars. And then we have a mutual fund investment of 115,593, with 53,411 held in treasury bills. That brings me to the end of the presentation of the statement of the primary statements of the financial statement. And I'll pause here to see if there are any questions or comments.
Thank you. Gentleman with the microphone, I see Accra Leslie, and I think I saw another hand coming up. Okay, all right, cool.
Thank you very much. Senior Auditor, your opinion, second paragraph, I think you have it there as 31st December 2022 instead of 2023. So some cut and paste from last year. Yeah.
Just in regards to the solar project, is it possible that that be channeled through the asset fund?
That's the intention. We are engaging the year group to actually channel their project through the asset fund. And if they agree, then the funds will be moved to the asset fund.
Any others? No, thank you very much. So Accra, I have a comment after, but let's do the motion, get that out, and then.
I move for the acceptance and approval of the Old Achimota Association reports and financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2023, as presented to the AGM.
Moved by the Treasurer, seconded by Accra Martin, seconds. Thank you very much. Can I see by show of hands votes for? Thank you very much. Can I see by show of hands those votes against? Thank you very much. The accounts are adopted. Thank you. So Accra, thank you very much, Accra Treasurer, Accra Bossman, and everybody who helped putting the report together. On the back of two things, on the back of the conversation we had earlier about super performance as far as collecting dues is concerned, and the accounts that Accra Treasurer has just presented. I also just want to inform the AGM that the EXCO has taken a decision to review, since 2016, we haven't reviewed the salary, we haven't been able to review the salaries of our staff. I'm sure we all know what that means. I mean, from January to today, is a problem. So if you've been earning the same thing since 2016, that's a major problem. So we're doing that, revising the salaries of our team for 2024 going forward. That said, we're also looking to restructure, and I think I've mentioned this before at the last AGM, for instance, the OAA itself, not just in the building, but in also its function. So hopefully, now that we're earning a little more, we may be able to attract and retain other staff that are critical to the existence and the growth of the OAA and the Secretariat. So please look out for more news as far as that's concerned. We're looking to set up and build an OAA that is worthy of the aspirations that we all have. So thank you very much once again, Accra, Antoinette. Accra, the next thing on the agenda would have been elections. But if you permit me, even though we've adopted the agenda, I've just received a notice about an Accra who needs to leave. So I just want to make a quick announcement, make a quick change there so that they can leave. This is in reference to the 1993 year group. I have under AOB the president's ball, but because she has to leave, let me do that now. As I'm sure you all know, the 30th anniversary celebrating year group has been tasked to work with the OAA Secretariat and the presidency to organize an annual president's ball once again in our fundraising drive. Last year, it was the turn of the 1992 and 1993 year groups to organize the president's ball. They are here today with their donation contribution of 50,000 Ghana cedis. And so we will receive them with a round of applause and we will collect their money and we will hug them. This donation will go from 93 to 93. Our treasurer also happens to be 93. So the president of the year group will come and hand over to her year group mate. Thank you very much, 92, 93. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Accra Elikem. Now, this money has already been, quote unquote, chopped, because we always detail what it is that we're trying to do with the funds that we raise from that project. And in this particular case, interestingly, a suggestion came from, he happens to be a member of the 93-year group though, Accra Niklote, based in the UK, had engaged or been engaged by a group called Maxim Jansa. I don't know if anybody has heard about the group. They look to donate subsidized laptops to various schools in Ghana, well, in the sub-region. So we've been going back and forth with them for quite a bit. They've come in, we didn't quite meet the criteria, but once again, because of lobby and all of that, they've come in, they've inspected labs, and are going to donate. Maybe I'll let Accra Headmaster give us that report.
We met on Wednesday, and they've agreed to give the school 60 computers. Yeah, with the promise that the OAA asks for 100 computers, but with the promise, because we are up and above the schools they are giving these computers to. So as and when they finish with the lower schools, they would add more.
So the lobby will continue. Like I said, we went on that. We didn't qualify, but once again, ways and means. So we have 60, and this 50 will go to them as our contribution for the setup and all of those things. So 1992 and 93, that's where your money is going. Thank you very much. Thanks to you, we will get 60 computers for the lab. Thank you so very much. Okay. Accra Botedoku. Once again, on the back of auditing fees, and can you kindly do us your 5-minute presentation on Collabo?
I can do that.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Akoradom. Normally, I'd be here without in my Achimota attire, but today I'm wearing this Collabo shirt. I'm going to talk very quickly about an exciting app, which I think I've mentioned to people about in the past. A few years ago in Lugard House, after lunch, we go to the house, we have siesta, and then when we wake up, we're like, Charlie, make we Collabo. One person will bring Gary, another person will bring Shito, sardine, somebody will bring a bowl, right? So that's where the name Collabo comes from. But what does the app do? It allows year groups to do fundraising very easily. You're able to track your finances very easily. So we have a few slides, but I'll skip through them. If you go to the next slide. So basically groups, networks, fellowships, and associations like our various year groups form the fabric of our society. And yet, when it comes to a time to raise much needed funds towards a project or in support of a classmate or colleague in need, or for the general administration of our various groups, we find that it is needlessly tiresome to accomplish this. Real-time tracking and contribution acknowledgement, reconciliation and timely reporting are a real challenge. Okay, so what Collabo allows you to do is to set up your group on the mobile app and easily track your contributions as they come in. Okay, so members can easily navigate through the group, figure out how much they owe or how much they need to pay, and then with a few clicks of a button, they make their contribution using Momo or Visa, okay? And then that money is sent directly to the treasurer or Momo account or bank account. Okay, so actually next slide, I summarized those 2 slides. So that's what the app looks like, the interface looks like. When you go to the home page, you see your groups that you belong to. So it may be your school group, your church group. You can use it for various things. And when you tap on any of the groups, then you see your ongoing collabos. So it might be like dues, another one may be fundraising for somebody's medical procedure. I mean, it's limitless. I think you can see that. And then next slide, Kobe. Next slide. Somebody is distracting him. Okay, so I think that the real beauty of the Collabo is that when you tap on any Collabo, then you see a dashboard. It gives you a very quick summary based on the most common questions that people ask. If you've been involved in raising funds before, you know that people will call you, how much do I owe? I contributed how much the last time? And if you're raising funds for 508 people and they're all calling you a busy person trying to get the same information, you see that it's tiresome. But fortunately, this app summarizes that for everybody. Everybody can just log in and they see all their data. They don't have to call you the treasurer for you to go and check spreadsheets or your notebook and tell them how much they've contributed, right? So next slide. Oh man, I've been waiting for that next slide. Okay. And then I think the last thing I'll say, exciting thing, is the reports page. Next slide after this one. So the reports page also allows you to do things like leaderboard, right? So, and the beauty of using a phone is that now you're not just looking at leaderboards where it's Lugard, Livingston, McCarthy. You can actually click on the Lugard and it will give you a breakdown of who is actually contributing from Lugard, right? And then if, let's say, Accra Joel Nete is there, you can tap on him and you see all the individual contributions he's made. Maybe he gave 100 CDs the first time, but the next time it was 50,000 CDs. You get to see all of that breakdown, and then there's no dispute. Reconciliation is easy, and there's a lot of transparency over there. So I think that that's, given the time I have, that's how much I'll be able to share. And then I'll say, we have a demo session online. There's going to be a demo for all year groups who are interested. They can join in. What I'll ask for the OAA to help with is with dissemination, maybe with the year groups. We'll just share the link with them, and then they can join July 9th, Tuesday, July 9th at 7 p.m. So people can join, and then they can ask questions about how they can download it, and on and on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Accra Akwete. So back to the point that was raised online and maybe even here about collecting dues from the year group and all of those things. All those issues can be addressed or can be helped if we use the Collabo app. So just coming up with all strategies we can to make our lives easier on all fronts. So Accra Akwete, thank you very much once again. Couple more things and we're out of here. I noticed that 14 is election of officers. And so we will do that. And then there are two critical things we will do under AOB, and then we're gone. What's that? Oh, Accra, I haven't had a question, sorry.
No, it's not a question as such. I noticed from my agenda that there was no column for AOB, but you are now mentioning AOB. I wanted to slip in something before the election. So that if you don't have your AOB.
There is an AOB.
Yeah, well, let me say.
Slip.
I thought the headmaster was going to include this in his report, but since he didn't do it, if you will permit me, Mr. Accra Chairman, to indulge in a bit of self-interest, that he should have announced in his report that I donated 5 copies
of your book,
of my autobiography.
A round of applause. Thank you very much, Accra.
There is a whole chapter on
Achimota, that's true.
More than 80 pages.
Yes.
So,
and it is a must read. I was privileged enough to attend the launch. And yes, there is a whole chapter on Achimota. So, Accra, thank you very much for donating. But I think even more importantly, all of us across owe it to Accra to learn from all the memories he had to share. So if you can buy the book, it's available on Amazon the last time I checked. Amazon and a few other places. From Accra directly. Autographed. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Thank you very much. My attention has just been drawn to the fact that I think today I'm tired. I skipped item number 13 after I had joked about it. Authorize the executive committee to fix the auditor's fees. Standard procedure. Can I have the AGM, this meeting, kindly approve the authorization of the executive committee to engage and fix the auditor's fees? Can I show by hands all those who support? Thank you very much. Can I see by show of hands those who disagree? We are unanimous on this one. Achimota is a good place. Accra doesn't agree. Okay, all right, cool. Accra Kwesi Okun, Accra Kwesi Okun once again will be our electoral commissioner. Whilst he and the team get ready, let me invite the 1994 year group to come and give us an update on this year's President's Ball. Accra Eunice, can we please make sure that everything for elections is ready so that as soon as we hand over to Accra Kwesi, we can jump straight into it. So the President's Ball this year holds on the 26th of October in at Labadi Beach Hotel. I'll give the year group, please come, an opportunity to give us a quick rundown before we go ahead.
Thank you, Accra President. My name is Prince Amato, representing the 94-year group. So this year will be our 30th, and we are holding the President's Ball. We are very privileged to do so on the 26th of October at the Labadi Beach Hotel. We have a marvelous lineup of activities for you. The kind that fits the excellence that Achimota is known for. Because of how challenging the economy is, we've decided to make sure our tickets for Akura's attending be pegged at 1,000 Ghana cedis per head only. And so we are coming out and announcing it at this time. If you notice, I'm starting from the money part. Coming out to announce it at this time so that Akures can start saving towards that. As a matter of fact, if year group decide to come in group, we have discount for table of 10. And that table of 10 will be 9,500. And so you can do that and then we'll be able to take care of that. Now we have, we've been able to develop the flyers that we are sharing on all Accra Nation pages. And so follow those directions. There are contact information numbers over there. You can call in. We'll be glad to support you. Aside from that, we are also selling ad space for the event brochure. And we are also asking for corporate and individual sponsorships. All of that is explained in over there. A lot of issues about money has been spoken here today. So I wouldn't want to go further into that. But please make contact with us through the OAA Secretariat, and we'll be glad to give you more information. Thank you.
Thank you very much, 1994 year group. Team, just before we jump into elections, I mentioned earlier in my presentation about a loyalty program we're looking to introduce. Accra Kwesi Day has been able to join us. Accra Kwesi, if you can give us top line of what the loyalty program could look like, so that when we go back to Accra with a real deal, they know what it is about.
Thank you very much, Accra President. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real pleasure to be here with you. And under the auspices of the President and Accra Yao, Benin Ponsa, they've directed me to put together this I think, very brilliant idea they've got to create what is essentially, or commonly we can call it a loyalty group for Achimotans. We're calling it the Exchange, if we can put up the slides. We're calling it the Accra Exchange. The idea is that Achimota School is easily the leading co-ed school in Ghana. We're probably the first school that was built as a co-ed, so it's particularly unique. But the alumni offerings have not been necessarily as unique and have not been necessarily something that has been unified. So the idea is to curate together and bring together a number of offerings, a number of products and services, a number of privileges that are unique to Achimotans. That not only bring us together, that not only reinforce our pace setter claim, that not only reinforce the fact that Achimotans across are special, but also give us some benefits and some privileges that are unique to us. It allows particularly the alumni network, the alumni association, to have something they can hang their hat on, something you can call your own, something you enjoy because you are Achimotan or an Accra. And then it brings us together more, unifies us a lot more, and also allows us to have something tangible that people benefit from. The school, maybe today there are arguably a few 100,000 people who have come through these walls since 1927. But as you can see, the attendance here relatively is rather sparse. So the idea, I think, from Mr. President, is really unique because it allows these things to happen. So I don't know if you can just put up my slide for me. And if you can jump me, I think I've done the intro and yeah, so Accra Exchange, I've done the introduction, so we can skip that. We can go to, yep, this is done in essence. Yes, objectives done in essence. And then, yes, so this is what I would like to touch on now. Strategically, it's a bit of a marketing thing as well, but how are we going to do this? Our whole idea is that go and find meaningful things to Achimotans, products, privileges, services that they will find, things that they would like to buy, things that they enjoy, find discounts, find unique access to these things for them, find privileged positions that they can then enjoy these things. And that makes you special. It makes Accra feel special. So there's a much stronger connection to the school, a much stronger connection to the alumni network. And if we can find these businesses and we can find these products and services, and if we can find these privileges, then we've got a unique claim for people to be a lot more active in the Accra Exchange, in the Accra network, in the Alumni Association. So that's what we're trying to achieve, and that's what we're directed at. If you can take me to the next slide. Yeah. How is it going to work? The Accra Exchange will be accessed by Accras. We will use dues as a low barrier to anybody who's paid their dues. Say we're able to get a subscription, say to The Economist. Accras are very educated, they like to read. We can get all Accras, for instance, a subscription, a joint subscription with a particular ID through our website. You can get access to a number of libraries across the world. Some of Accras are teaching in some of the best schools in the world. And Accras are a literate group, they would like to read. But it's not very easy to find a good library. Do they even exist in Accra anymore? You just can't get a good book in Accra. Neither can you get access to a good library in Accra anymore. That would be something that will be quite appealing to the Accra Association. If you can get a subscription to them and they can read things like that, then it's something that they will find privileged. And because it's the OAA that is providing this type of access, it increases and reinforces the place of the alumni network, the alumni association in their lives, and they're a lot more connected to the school. So that's tactically how we're hoping to be able to achieve these things. What we are hoping to do from here, so this is the idea, we've talked about it broadly. What we're looking to do next is that now that the agent has heard of the idea formally, we're beginning the process of contacting businesses, contacting people who can provide for us some of these product services and privileges that we need to be able to actually complete the offering. And I'm sure the president at the right time will direct to have a formal launch of just the Accra Exchange. And then Accras will be incentivized to pay their dues so they can get access to these unique products, services, privileges that the OAA will be offering to them. So this is the idea around the Accra Exchange. We'll be happy to take any thoughts, anything I've missed, any questions. We'll be happy to take that, and then we'll make this a lot better, and it will be for your enjoyment. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Accra there is a bit bourgeois, so he's talking about libraries and all of that. My needs are a bit more basic. So discounts at restaurants, discounts at fuel stations, supermarkets, hotels, stuff like that. Yeah, so me, I'm more down to, my needs are more basic. He is more bourgeois.
Very well said. So any questions, anything that you think we may have missed in developing the idea to this point, we'll be happy to take those questions, comments as well. And if you're happy with it, we will continue on our merry way and make it complete.
Thank you very much, Accra Chris. We don't have too much time, so we'll go that. Since there are no objections, the benefits clearly are good for all of us, and so we'll take it from there. Accra, that brings us to elections. 2 years ago, you elected us to serve you for a 2-year term. And on behalf of my entire EXCO, I want to say thank you very much for the privilege. But technically, that privilege and that mandate you gave us ends to now. So at this point, we shall retire to the general membership and we will hand over to the electoral commissioner, and then you tell us where you want us to go from here. Thank you very much once again for the privilege of serving.
Good evening, Akras. Actually, this won't take long at all. So if you grant me the privilege of going as fast as I can. Sorry? Yes, it is something we considered, except it is not in our constitution. So we have to appoint them back again. And I intend, therefore, that we go as fast as possible. In fact, let me tell you that all of them are coming back almost unopposed. But it's only because of the requirements of the Constitution that we'll go through this process. Otherwise, it shouldn't be a difficulty. There's only one quirk in the whole administration of the elections. Accra Kwambwachi, who was a member elected 2 years ago, has, for his own reasons, decided not to continue. The rest are continuing, and therefore there'll be a new member who we have to vote for to replace him. That's the only quirk we have today. Now, when it comes to voting, all of you who have registered will have received the link by message or by email. So if you haven't, check your phone now. The heading is OAA AGM, so check your phone if you've got it. I got mine. It was sent by somebody called Kwame Asare. So it can be a little confusing, but look at the heading. The heading is OAA AGM. You will see the link, and it will give you a website which you should go to, and that is how you will vote. It's going to be very simple. We will vote for 3 of the executives individually. The president, Ms. Accra Joanete, is staying on, and well, forgive my words. He's staying on, although we are voting him in again. So yes, whether he likes it or not, we're going to vote on him. So you will be required to go to your phones and vote yes, no, or you abstain. So do you want me to go through that again? Have you got the OAA AGM? Click on the website. It's waiting. Is it open? Very good. Okay, the first one will be President Accra Joanete, and you will vote yes, no, or abstain. I'll give you 2 minutes to do that. It should be quite fast. In fact, 3 minutes, because the people outside will need to go through what we're going through. And Gloria, are we okay? The results are appearing on the screen as we speak. So even though it's not finished, it's very clear that so far, Accra Joanete has got 100%. It's been very difficult for him to drop down to 0. So as the duly appointed electoral commissioner, even though it's early, let me say that Accra Joanete is re-elected as the president. So can we move on to vice president, please? The vice president is Accra Harold Eseku. We're going through the same process. When it comes onto your phones, vote yes, no, or abstain. And we will record it there as fast as possible. Sorry? You didn't get a link. Oh. Yes, so okay, 2 minutes. This will allow the people outside, if they've got those, to say something. Are the 2 minutes up? Right. I think we can move on. I don't think it will change. So I declare that Accra Harold Eseku is re-elected as the vice president. The next person is the treasurer, Accra Antoinette Kofi. Please vote. Okay. Okay. Antoinette at the present time has 97.9%. In a few seconds, we will see if that changes. Even if it changes, to get down to 0 is very difficult. Okay. Accra, I hereby declare that Accra Antoinette Kofi has been re-elected as the treasurer. Thank you very much. Now there are certain members of the committee who we vote for here. They are Harold Richardson, Yaobene Amponsa, Fafak Beho, Saka Adomensa, Yaboating, Barbara Okaitete, and Grace Nelson. They are eligible to stand again, and therefore we're going to vote for them to see whether we want them or not. When you go into the website, you will see their names and you tick or not. As you tick, their scores will come up. They are individual. You're voting for each of them. They are individual and you're voting for each of them. So unless somebody drops down to 0, they'll be re-elected. Sorry? Yeah, some of them are not here present today, but they have, when the nominations opened, they applied. All of this, there are actually 7 on this list right now. No, we need 8, but there are 7 here now. So vote for each of them separately. If you like them, you say you take. If you don't like them, you shut up. 30 seconds more. They all seem to be positive, so that's okay. The percentages mean that the positives are higher than the negatives. You with me? So anybody who's got a positive is. Oh, don't see who they are. Okay, normally we would have done that. So unfortunately, we have asked them to retire. So to bring them back, some of them are here, but not all of them are back here. Some of them are in the gents and ladies. Okay. Those of you who are on the list, if you are here, please stand up and let them see you. They've been sitting up here all day. Okay, I think time is up. Oh, were there any negatives? I can't see the score. Right. All of the numbers there are positive. In other words, more yeses than somebody saying, I won't vote for them. Okay, so the following are re-elected, having stood again as members of the OAA committee. Harold Richardson, ya Benamponsa, Fafagbeo, Saka Adomensa, ya Boating, Barbara Okaitete, and Grace Nelson. Congratulations to them. There's one more position left because Accra Kwamboache has stepped down. Do you know him? Kwame, let them know who you are for future purposes. This is Accra. He has served well for the last 2 years, and for his own reasons, he's stepping down. There was just one nomination to replace him, Accra Lom Ahlija. Could you please be on your feet so we know? Accra Lom Ahlija is of the 2001 year group. What house? Stopford. Was there some Gokovu ball here? So we're going to do this exactly the same for him as we did for the top three. Go into your website and vote yes, no, or you abstain. And we will see where we are. Hey, people are abstaining, they don't know you. Let's give it another 30 seconds and we'll close the vote. Any news from outside? Any comments from outside? Online, I mean. No? 90%. Okay, it's so possible. Yeah, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, Accra Lomanglija has been elected as a new member of the OAA committee. Congratulations. So, Mr. Chairman, you can bring back your new executive to come and sit down again. And that brings me to the end of the elections. But let me also do one last thing. The crew out there have been doing these elections for a few years. When I was made the electoral commissioner some 3 or 4 years ago, I brought them to come and help me do it. And they've done a very good job. You see how fast we went. They are very good at it. So let me thank them on your behalf. Thank you very much. And him, yeah. Mina very much, yeah. Okay, Inti, Yadamasi. Yadamunyanasi. Thank you very much.
Accra Kwesioko, thank you very much. Accra Electoral Commissioner. Across Lom, thank you very much for your new mandate and the vote of confidence cast. We will do all within our power, sometimes even things outside of our power, to make sure that the OAA and Hashimoto School are successful in all the endeavors. And for me, it's just a continuation of the vision that we've shared. And trust me when I say that we will continue to give this our absolute best. Thank you so very much for the new mandate. This brings us to AOB. AOB, let me go to the floor very quickly. Is there anything else? Accra Sarah, can somebody pass the mic to Accra Sarah? Thank you very much, Accra. I know it's past 5 o'clock already, it's 5:27. We will round this up.
Thank you very much, Accra, all of us for having taken time off and come. But then when you're an Achimotan, you're an Achimotan. There's no taking it out of us. Over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sort of, I've had about 4 people approach me and ask, why do we have the AGM in the chapel? I have tried to say, well, maybe from habit, because initially it used to follow the memorial service. But that obviously doesn't satisfy it. It doesn't make it at all. So please, can we have some explanation? Or maybe, does it then mean that we consider possibly AGM in the assembly hall? Thank you.
I think that's an easy one to answer. I've also been asked, and I've also wondered. In the past, really, the challenge was that the assembly hall was not in a particularly good state, but now that it's been refurbished, we can't move it there. The logistical challenges of no chairs, it was just easier to come to the chapel. The chairs were here. We just needed this set, put the PAs in, and we have it. But now that, thanks to 7484, we have a refurbished assembly hall, we definitely will consider having meetings like this there. So that's easy. Thanks for bringing it up. That's easy. Yes, Agra.
Hello, my name is Akra Amael. I just want to bring something to your attention.
Yeah, group, please.
2012.
Whilst you're at it, add your house so that we know where you.
Agri House.
Agri House. Okay, all right.
All right. So sometime last week, there was a message put on the group by I think Auntie Eunice regarding.
Group means the OAA reps.
Yeah, OAA
okay.
reps group. Yes. Regarding a colleague of ours, a fellow Accra who's suffering from end-stage kidney failure. We as a 2012 group have done something in terms of contribution to help with her dialysis, but then we want to bring this to the general OAA in the sense that we are trying to find a permanent solution, like, if possible, a kidney transplant to help prolong her life, because we realize that doing contributions, the family always keep coming back asking for more funds. That wouldn't be a lasting solution. So we wanted to bring this to the general body. If they have any experts that are willing to meet to see her medical history, to see if what viable, process we can go through. We are in talks with some doctors who come to Ghana to perform these kidney transplants here in Ghana. So the long and short of it is that we need your help. We need the entire Accra body to come and support our fellow Accra, Vanessa, so to help save her life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Accra. I just asked if Accra Dr. Andre Kusukuma was here, but apparently he's left. I've noticed that request as well. There have been conversations around how we can support, whether we should set up a GoFundMe, this, that, and the other. The challenge with these things is that there's so many of it. Today's health, tomorrow is something else. And if we keep just going back to just the general populace, you don't get the kind of traction that you require. And that's why it's important, once again, to break it down to bite-sized chunks, making sure that the year group themselves, and I'm glad you're here from that year group, are rallying. And whatever we can do as the Secretariat or the OA executive, we will do to support. But we've got to be creative. And I'm glad you're looking at options, transplants, all of those things. So yes, let's take it offline. Whatever conversation we can have, introduce you to a few Accras in high places as far as the medical field is concerned. Let's see what we can do to support the fellow Accra. But yeah, it's heart-wrenching. Accra Ivan, and then we'll take two more. Are there anything online? Otherwise, then we'll be rounding up.
Well, in connection with this kidney thing, I don't know whether they've talked to Accra Dr. Jomoedu, one of the world's foremost nephrologists. If even he may not be able to help financially, he may have other suggestions to make to help this person.
And the name is Accra?
Jomoedu.
Is he based in Ghana?
Yes, he's now based in Ghana.
Okay.
He was my roommate in Jamvi House.
Oh, okay. Accra, so let's take the information and let's see. That the beauty of bringing these things up in an AGM. Somebody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Thank you very much, though. So we'll do that. Any other business? Anything that we haven't touched on? Beautiful. So internally, nothing. Let's see external, online. Lom, you put your people online. Where is Lom? You put your people online. Okay.
I believe next AGM there must be a clear communique of welfare for us.
welfare for Accra's. We here. Accra's, let's I almost forgot this. One last thing. Accra chairman Kofifin is tired. He didn't remind me. But we also, you heard him in his report that we also have a vacancy as far as the asset fund is concerned because Accra Ecospio Gabra also stepped down. Unfortunately, as at the time of this AGM, we don't have any official nominations for replacement. So in the tradition of what we've done previously in this AGM, I will take it upon myself to nominate somebody for the consideration of the AGM to replace Accra. No, we're not replacing Accra. Accra Ecospio Gabra. Incidentally, this person I'm going to nominate is in the finance space as well, and I think we'll tick the box of looking for experts to help grow the asset fund and the management of the fund. 2 years ago, when the new trustees, people have just been here last year, when the new trustees were voted in, actually his name was on the slate. Accra Martin Nentry of the 1983 year group. And so I will nominate Accra Martin for consideration of the AGM to replace Accra Ecospio Gabra. Do I have a seconder? Accra Martin. Carried. I got 10 days for this, but let's officially vote. All in favor say aye. All against say you. Not you. Okay. Accra Martin, thank you very much. So welcome to the asset fund. Accra's, it's 5:34, and that brings us to the end of the official business as far as this AGM is concerned. We've opened the floor for any other business. There's been none. Accra Ivan says I'm speaking too soon.
May I add?
Yes.
That Accra, Dr. Jomoyedu, together with my brother-in-law, set up the Kolebu kidney unit.
Oh, wow.
The one that they were the people who established it.
Wow, okay.
So if you see him, you are seeing the father of the Kolebu.
Nephrology department. Absolutely. Okay, thank you very much. Well, given that there's no other business, can I ask somebody to move that this AGM come? Accra, can I have a non-executive member move? Accra Tetepadi moves. Accra Andre Kwesukuma. I said Accra Andre had left. You see the gentleman who raised his hand? He's still here. So please talk to him as we talk to the nephrologist. That let's see what we can do. Accra Andre seconds. This AGM is therefore duly adjourned. Accra, thank you very much. The last thing, two things on our agenda are a closing prayer that Accra Akwete will say for us.
Okay, shall we bow our heads? Merciful God, we thank you for this opportunity we've had to meet here today. We have accomplished a great many things. We have put new people in positions of responsibility and service. We thank you for the many big decisions, great decisions that have been made here also. We pray that you continue to give us the grace, the wisdom to come up with new innovative ideas that will help this association continue to grow bigger, better, and better. We thank you, Lord, as we go our separate ways, that you take us and continue to keep us. In Jesus' name we pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. From Gambaga to Accra, from Wiosu to Keta, we are brothers and our mother is our school. She will guide us all and each, so to learn that we may teach, so to subjugate ourselves that we may rule. Play the game, shout her name, spread her fame afar. She's the head of all the host, she's the school of whom we boast, she's the glory of the coast, Archimota. When our books are laid aside and we scatter far and wide, We remember with affection all we gave, how we learned to take our share in the life and labor there, where the men of whom we're proud of were trained. Play the game, shout her name, spread her fame afar. She's the head of all the host. She's the school of whom we boast. She is the glory of the coast. Achimota. Across, thank you so very much once again. Before we go, I just want to recognize a former teacher who's joined us for this AGM, Mr. Ben Mahmood. Accra Ben Mahmood, thank you very much for making time to join the ATM. I wish you all a good night, a good rest of year, and see you at some Accra event soon. There are refreshments across, there are refreshments to the right, behind in front of the chapel. So please pass by, pick something before you go. Thank you so very much. There are also souvenirs displayed outside.